Yeah, he's in Florida.
Yeah, like.
He just had to sit outside too.
I know. Yeah, he just had to sit outside and enjoy the weather too. Rude.
Just chose to move it to the agenda. All right, it's 6 o'clock. We'll call the meeting to order with the Pledge of Allegiance. Okay, the clerk is currently not in the room. Moment.
She was making a copy, right?
Yeah.
It's in a couple of sheets.
I think everyone is.
Pages 2 and 4 were missing up the,
Yeah. Yep.
You know when you're ready. Okay, clerk will take the roll. I did see him.
Ben, if you're here, can you speak? Probably.
Here.
Yes.
Here. Here.
And Van is present in the recorded meeting that we have, so clerk will note that we have 5.5, I guess.
Ben, can you hear us?
It looks like he's lighting up like he's
Yeah,
speaking.
I
so-
saw that. I heard something.
Okay, hopefully we can figure out how to hear him. If not, then we won't. So I think we'll just at this point note that we have a five person quorum with two absent, and Neil won't be here.
Ben, can you speak again?
1, 2, 3.
I can barely hear him. Is there a mic that I need to move?
Could be.
Is,
Yeah, I have it. Sound should be out on the,
Don't see my picture either.
okay, the volume on the thing, on the restaurant should go all the way to the right. Should be on the bottom. No, not that. Is he coming through that?
No,
Okay. Spoken volume. button.
room volume is all the way up.
Okay, then scratch his end.
Gonna try it again, Van?
I see other people.
I think you'll be able to hear a yay or nay, right?
Yep, yep.
Yeah,
Charlie Brown's teacher.
6, yep. Before we get to the approval of the agenda, I was communicated to by trustee Klein that there was an expressed interest in potentially removing item 7A from the agenda. If there's any interest in doing that, the motion has to be made before we approve the agenda, because then we would then have a motion to approve the amended agenda. So I will leave that to the board at large if anybody wishes to make a motion regarding that. Otherwise, we'll just entertain a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the agenda as presented. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, say no. Motion carries. All right, so the consent agenda includes our regular meeting from January, as well as licenses and permits for Lucky 7, Tippy Canoes, the Mill, and then board committee meeting and agency reports as listed, vouchers payable. And there is no budget summary included in the consent agenda this time. Anybody have any questions on the consent?
I'd like a comment on the budget right now. I've been swamped with finishing up year-end stuff and audit requests, so
Audit, yeah.
no time to get to that this month.
Anybody else have anything that they wanted to cover or discuss from the consent before we have a motion to approve?
But I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Thanks, Nicole. Thank you, Mike. We have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, say no. Motion carries. Item 4 on the agenda is public input and ideas. Limit 5 minutes per speaker. Anybody who wishes to address the board, now is the time to come up. Please make sure that the microphone at the dais is on and that you state your name and your address, and then you'll have 5 minutes to address the board.
No. Sure. Yep, thank you.
There, okay. Cheryl Beardsley, my address is 1850 60th Avenue, Osceola, Wisconsin. I'm a member of the Heritage Committee, and we just wanted to inform you of some of the things we've been up to. I think you probably all already know that we did a tabling at the Osceola Fair and interviewed whoever wanted to talk about what their family history was like in the area and how they'd like the town to be represented. And those have been transcribed and included in our thinking. We're compiling a bibliography of resources that includes the Osceola Village Chronicle, the history of the Ojibwe people. We've interviewed Ojibwe historian Jason Schlender, and we've drafted some signed content, which we can pass out to you tonight. It's just a draft. It's, as you probably know, this is a complicated story. And so we've sort of taken a stab at it with what we currently know. We want to get more input from the tribe about some of the language, but that's, so that's in the works. And we plan to meet with people in the Osceola Historical Society and interview I think she's the former historian for the St. Croix Band, Wanda McFagan. And we'll host listening sessions and get feedback on what we've got once we've got more. And we're going to collaborate with Diane Wilson on the Dakota part of the history. She's an author from the other side of the river and has Dakota history. She's actually the author for the Valley Reads book this year. And I've been attending the senior center's gathering. So that's a group of seniors that just meet and talk. And I plan to go to the potluck just because there'll be more people and probably different points of view. So we just wanted to let you know that we're working. We've got words. and you'll get the words. So thank you. That's it.
Thank
Want me
you.
to turn this off?
No, keep it on. Thank you.
Keep it on.
Hello,
Hey, Eric.
Eric Krenz, 403A 8th Avenue. Also the owner of Osceola Lanes in downtown Wisconsin. Osceola, Wisconsin. All right. So first off, I just want to thank everybody that took my phone calls today. I really appreciate you guys hearing me out. I feel like my points were made. I guess to start with, I just say that I'm semi disappointed and feel a little bit betrayed by the board here. When we went through this in June, everybody talked, and I can read some direct quotes. I won't say who said it, but I agree. I just don't think we have enough information to make a decision. And I know I'm not willing to vote for something over the objections of downtown businesses. I think that they form the heart of the community and bring people here. And we need to take the time to truly engage with them in this because it's a monumental change that we're talking about. I don't think there's been enough front end conversations to talk about the permutations of this. That was one member, another board member. I think at the very least, we should probably just wait till the ribbon gets cut on the bridge. This conversation can continue when that stress has been removed. There's a lot of time between now and then that we can gather a lot of data and make a lot of decisions. But we should wait till the bridge to open, then continue the conversation. Now, I know many will say that there's a difference between what was presented then and what's being presented now. But the main issue is still that we're trying to tell people we don't want them in this town longer than 2 hours. And after talking with the business community, this is a very major concern to all of us. When we get people in this town, we want to keep them here. If people come to go to see the falls, we don't want them leaving town to go eat. If you go to the falls, you hike up to the bluff to see the view. It's beautiful. You come down, you go eat at the watershed. You walk down, you get ice cream at the antique store, and then you might go have a drink on the patio. And you do that on a Saturday afternoon. You come at 11 and you leave at 1:30. You think you had a great day. All of a sudden you leave town. 3 weeks later, all of a sudden you get a bill in the mail for $30. Do you know what you're going to remember about Osceola? You're not going to remember the waterfall. You're not going to remember the beautiful view. You're going to remember that $30 ticket because that frustrates you. I'm sure I know that I presented this to my people on Facebook. I'll just read a couple that when I was sitting down here came across. As an out-of-towner who frequents Osceola for their shops, restaurants, and bowling, I can tell you that this is 100% bad idea. If I get a parking ticket because I happen to be shopping for only 2 minutes over 2 hours, that will be the only thing I remember, and it will be my last visit to Osceola. This is a very hot button issue. And like I said, I don't think there's any difference between meter parking and enforcing the 2 hours. Of course, meter parking is more inconvenient to people, but still the message of the story is we don't want you here longer than 2 hours. And I don't know why we are telling visitors to our town that. Another issue that I just brought up is people, how are they going to know that it's all of a sudden being enforced? So all of a sudden they've been coming here for years and years and years, and then they get a ticket 3 months later saying, hey, you get fined $30. They're not going to want to come back to this town. I know the main thing that they're going to talk about is safety sticks. When I looked at the agenda, it looked like there's 29 pages on just the camera enforcement and not that much on safety sticks. So I feel like the proposal is more on the cameras downtown and making sure people leave this town within 2 hours or get fined than the safety sticks. The safety sticks, I think they call them safety sticks because that sounds good. They want to get their foot in the door with municipalities with a safety stick because everybody wants safety, right? So the safety sticks monitor the crosswalks or the fire hydrants. I go downtown every day. I've never seen somebody parked in front of the crosswalks. I noticed in the letters that it's only downtown. Why are the safety sticks only downtown and not out by the schools or down 35 here? It seems like they're just trying to get their foot in the door so that 3 months from now, they can ping Devin with another email. Hey, how are the safety sticks going? Do you think we could, propose this to the board again about, monitoring the 2 hour lots and putting the cameras up? Or what about meters? And Devin might say, no, I don't think they're that tight for it right now. 6 months later, they're going to ping them again. Hey, what do you think about this? And it's just going to happen. And us in the business community are going to have to keep fighting this over and over again. I think safety sticks solve a problem that doesn't exist besides for that company because they get their foot in the door. I acknowledge that parking is a problem during the day downtown, but I think that's mostly an employee parking issue. The problem is this doesn't solve that problem. Employees downtown still need a place to park. If we want to come up with a solution for that, we have to give them an option of somewhere to park. One of the options is behind the old Dairy Queen, Busy Bean. I think that's a great opportunity because a lot of the congestion Downtown is down by the bowling alley, Hoggy Dental, and everywhere else. So if we had that opportunity to turn that into parking lot,
15 seconds.
seconds. Okay, well, I want to move ahead. So business impact is going to kill my business. My senior leagues, my bowling tournaments, all go over 2 hours. It's going to be devastating. During this 6 hours that I've known about this, I've heard from Studio A, Dick's, Hoggy Dental, PY's, Jackpot, Staple, Looking Glass, Osseo Cleaners, Valley Spirits, Valley Suds, Ace Hardware, myself, Watershed, in the Mill. And 1,500 people have signed the petition, including 300 in the last 6 hours. I implore you to listen to their voices on this issue. And it's frustrating that our business voices feel like we're not being heard.
Thanks, Eric. Anybody else wish to address the board? Seeing nobody else, we will move on from item 4 to item 5 on the agenda, which is staff reports. So we're going to start with 5A1 Police.
You get Tanner tonight. Yeah, AJ's at a conference in Wisconsin Dells this week.
Good evening, everyone. As Devin mentioned, Chief Bach is at the annual Chiefs Conference. My name is Tanner Revin. If anyone hasn't met me, I've been employed with the village since fall of 2019 as a police officer. I'm the most senior guy right after Chief Bach. So in January of 2026, Osceola PD officers completed 70 incident reports and 5 traffic crash reports. Our officers made 9 arrests, including 5 felony arrests. Our officers initiated 233 traffic stops and issued 115 citations. Our police administrative assistant processed 10 requests for records and/or background checks. School resource officer Tremblay responded to 9 school-related incidents in the month of January. Some of the notable incidents which our officers responded to in January included a burglary attempt where a suspect attempted to enter an unoccupied residence. This incident is currently under investigation. Our department took a report of sexual assault that occurred within the village. Following further investigation, our officers executed a search warrant at a residence to collect evidence and arrested the suspect, who was subsequently charged with 2 counts of second-degree sexual assault. Our officers have been diligent on traffic enforcement and drug interdiction. In January alone, our officers had 3 OWI-related arrests, including a felony OWI 4th offense, and 7 marijuana-related stops for over 46 physical grams of THC-positive material, as well as 7 THC vape devices or pens have been collected. Each THC pen could potentially contain the equivalent of over 40 grams of marijuana, and we have noted that these devices have been more popular alternatives used by the younger demographic. We concluded our low light inclement weather shoot at the Osceola Rod and Gun Club. I'll personally note it was negative 25 degrees at that time, so inclement weather is correct. During this training, we also qualified our new officers with our department long guns. Officer Reben, myself, and Chief Bach completed their instructor development curriculum required for reapplying for certification as an instructor. Myself, Officer Miller, Tremblay, and Chief Bach recertified as basic intoximeter operators. Officers Dodge and Valine will be attending the operator certification course later this year. I have been working hard processing evidence scheduled to be purged from our inventory. We are also establishing a department seizure program, which would allow the Osceola Police Department to recoup some costs associated with investigations by seizing assets such as currency or vehicles that were used in the commission of various felony level offenses.
How much cash have you found so far?
Just while purging the evidence room, it was approximately, we had over $4,000 in seized cash from 2 drug busts. And going through the process, we were able to recoup 2,000 of that for department costs. And the other 2,000 was sent to the state school fund per statute.
I think it's somewhere else, but I'm gonna ask it here. Isn't there a new truck on order, gonna be ordered or something?
It's on the CIP for order. So once the CIP gets approved and all that, then we can go forward with it.
And then the new, the radios have been implemented?
The radios have arrived, yes.
I don't know, are they working good?
A few have them already, yeah.
So yes, they required new mounts. One of our officers had a soft mount, so he is able to use it. The second officer was able to get his hard mount, so he is using it. And our third officer is just waiting for the last one to show up. But all indicators are that they work great in the village, so.
Yep.
Thanks, Tanner.
You can fill it anytime.
All right, next up, Public Works.
Hey, good evening, everyone. January was a little crazy weather-wise, but we welcome the cold spell. It gives us time to focus on things like I mentioned in the report, in inventorying and getting our shop back into a workable space. Generally, it's kind of crazy to do some things during the transition of seasons, but these really cold periods allow us to focus on equipment and getting our stuff back in order, getting ready for a new year and a new season. But multiple snow events in January and continued maintenance, weekly removing snow and ice, a lot of freezing, thawing, ice like that. So these little dustings and this freezing and thawing is sometimes more of a nuisance than just getting like a foot of snow. Procured additional salt for 2026 here. I think we're going to get through the rest of the season given the current weather we're having, but a severe shortage across the Midwest forced us to kind of emergency purchase the salt that was necessary. The county and state unfortunately cut everyone off, so we were thankful with another local community to get our salt in a timely manner. Continue cleaning, de-icing of storm sewer openings. That's been nonstop. You'll see us out there opening catch basins constantly and utilizing some salt in some areas, or even sometimes steaming or jetting things to get them open. Streetlights have been repaired downtown. Everything's been functioning well at this point. We know we have new light post, short one that came in on Second Avenue, the parking lot there. It's only been hit about 5 times now. So we look forward to having that replaced. As I mentioned last month, we were just waiting one more acceptance for our Tree City application has been approved. We're encroaching 20 years, a 50-year program. So it's pretty neat to be a part of that whole process. Ice skating rink is open along with our warming shack. We can see it's been utilized. We've been keeping up on it, but even today, so we'll see a little colder weather overnight. Have fresh ice to skate on tomorrow. Restroom floors, some of our restrooms are seeing overhaul, including in our shop. But what we did was we sanded them down and applied an epoxy paint. One of those things that, again, we're just getting ready for the thousands of visitors to Mill Pond restrooms and stuff like that for the year. Tree pruning, very high, along with dealing with our emerald ash borer trees, public trees. I think we're set for taking about 6 more down this week. We're going to concentrate on 3rd Avenue, so you'll see us out and about. A lot of trees going to be coming down with this better weather. Tree pruning in parks, and was the time to just go ahead and just really start limbing them up appropriately, getting them trimmed up, getting ready for the budding season. And then planning and oversight continue for Gristmill and Gateway Meadow Parks. Just a brief update. A lot of the stairway has arrived. Bulk parts are being behind the old DQ site on village property at this time. Made several mentions. We have appropriate space, other spaces available for them. Seem to work for them logistically to have it there. Looking forward to start putting stuff together soon, as they stated in the last meeting we had last week. Yeah. Any questions?
So the AJ learned that not always is the state contract the most economical place. So I see you're shopping or buying a truck.
Correct. Shopping and seeking, yes.
Yeah. I've done state contract stuff for what I do too.
Yep.
You put a number out that you know you can sell it for. It doesn't always mean that, just like AJ found, that you can get a better deal sometimes if there's rebates and somebody gets more aggressive. So
You're absolutely correct. I look forward to presenting that here shortly in the steps that I took in looking after regional, state, and just dealer incentives and getting the best deal.
awesome. I know we were conversing. Yeah, I mentioned this before the meeting. I struggle with the email system here in the Apple format. I'd much rather do PC type Outlook. Do we have a meeting this week for Public Works?
We don't.
Okay.
I think I got everyone's feedback, despite recommendations in the past.
Yeah.
I received all 3 emails. I know, I do apologize as we did have some snow and some other things going on. I missed yours, as I mentioned,
Yep,
you know.
it's fine.
So I do intend on fully sticking to the calendar, the yearly calendar, and
We missed the December one, and that was where the conversation kind of started.
June, our last one was June,
Yeah,
correct?
our last
Yeah.
one, June, so we missed 2.
Oh, okay. I know we missed December because I remember asking about it.
Sure.
And that's one where it's like, I would love to see us book them out for the year so I can plan, because it isn't just even us sitting here in meetings, it's the public too.
No, absolutely.
Um,
I look forward to sticking to the
plan ahead.
calendar.
For everybody's
Absolutely.
benefit. And by all means, if something happens and it snows, change it. I mean, we all get it. Just the further we can plan in advance, the better.
That sounds good.
Don't have a meeting this week?
We will not be having that meeting tomorrow. I hope that I clarified in the last email that I will look forward to the,
You did, I just couldn't figure out which one came when.
Yeah.
So the chicken and egg thing.
got a little confusing. I do apologize, but we will look forward to a March
Yeah,
25th meeting.
It's Outlook,
Okay.
or not Outlook, but whatever.
Yeah, it was supposed to be a special meeting due to some circumstances, but it's on the board packet tonight, and that's why the meeting was canceled.
That's fine.
I 100% agree it's the user. 100% agree.
Just fine.
I've just never been, it's never clicked in there.
Set up Outlook on PC.
I don't know.
I-
Usually can
I'm-
follow them if it's not a
I'm
bunch
in
of
it
people
at, yeah,
checking.
I'm in it at work all day. Like I'm
Mhm.
constantly checking. So yeah, I can show you how if you want.
We may.
Any other questions?
What, as long as you're up here.
Yeah.
The lighting over at Shelburne,
Yes.
what's the equipment there? What do you use to run it? Is it just a basic time clock?
Yeah, and we've actually gone to even more simplified, manual timers.
Okay.
Yeah, unfortunately, yeah, we've tried some of the higher end stuff. That has failed. There's been very technical and very twitchy.
Yeah, your basic time clock somebody puts on their pool. It's really nice and easy.
That's what we have.
Photo cells suck.
Yeah, we'll,
Yeah.
we'll talk about that during the Shelburne discussion.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you. All right, next up, utilities.
Hey, good evening, everybody. So, recent updates to our billing system, monthly bills are issued successfully. Significant efforts on our utilities clerk made that process really smooth. There's a lot of technical detail that goes into that on the back end of our billing system, and she did wonderful with it. We have a couple meters that we need to follow up on. Seems like the signals aren't getting out, maybe like a tin roof situation that might have to move some stuff around. So we're still following up with a couple of meters on our list. Cold weather, this was really, I don't know, this month was just something because we had several pipe failures in homes, a lot of call outs to shut water off, water running in basements, or, burst pipes and things like that. More so than usual, but all went really well. We were able to respond within minutes and get that water shut off for the customers. Working with the treasurer to get the annual report, the PSC annual report done, and the audit requests in on a timely fashion. And we assisted, this isn't a report, but I thought about it when we were talking about River Street. We assisted with the surveying over there, opening the manholes and things. Of course, we chose like the coldest week of the year to do that. And we had snow, and so we were busting through ice, yay big with SDSs and things, and went well, but we were kind of laughing. Of course, this wasn't the week after when it was supposed to be 30-something degrees. So just seems to be how it goes. Xcel Energy blasted us out of bed at 4 o'clock in the morning, deciding to load shed. So I got the cops beat. It was 28 below when we were here. The program, the generator, make sure it's going to run. We are on a load shed program. So we reduced utility rate if we are able to remove the entire plant's load to our generator power upon request. That is the first time we've been called overnight. I woke up going, who from a 1-800 number calls at 4 o'clock in the morning? So found out it was Xcel. That went well. Whole process went well. They called again. We had several times we had a load shed, so the grid must have been really taxed on those days where it was so cold out. Any questions on the report?
They actually make you answer the phone overnight for that? Like it's in a contract somewhere?
It's in our contract somewhere.
Get some
I've never,
penalties if you don't.
huge penalties if you don't.
Right.
That's right.
yeah.
So you
The
save,
rate.
on your rate, but the penalty if you miss it is pretty hefty. hefty, hefty.
Well, thank you for answering the phone.
No problem.
Save that
Thank you.
number.
Yes, we do. We do have it. They text too. And so I got the text afterwards and I'm like, whenever you get, a phone call in the middle of the night, you're going to be disoriented, And so I was just looking at it and
Over
I figured it was an alarm dialer from work.
That's when it gets cold.
And getting called in for, a water system problem or a sewer system problem or something. And it was kind of comical when I saw the 1-800. I was like, who would that be? And then, it's two, 1 made 2 and it was Excel Energy took care of it. So, yes.
I was
That's,
just thinking that.
that's kind of what I was thinking. It was just like, what? So,
I got two things for you.
sure.
Thanks for stopping down and talking to Mitch.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And the schedule values looks good.
Yeah.
The billing.
Okay.
That actually, there's 3 things. The third one, I happen to be just looking at another SCADA system to bid.
Sure.
It's a couple $100,000.
Yeah.
And I know you were talking before, like you thought we could get by with doing some Band-Aids and stuff, or where are you at with that?
Actually, you'll see it at a committee level is, last time we went to committee, we talked about splitting it out and, it's okay to split this out. We explored that, basically do what you got to do, Rick. We wanted to explore for functionality. What we lose in our SCADA system as it is we don't have no visibility into it. And so we, after having radio issues over December, over Christmas break, and we had to actually send somebody has to physically be here to do all of these things versus just checking it on like an iPad or an iPhone computer at home or something like that. We said, gosh, we really need some visibility. It's 2026, we need some visibility into this. So the original quote, I believe, was 230,000, but 60,000 of that ish was radios. And so we were pretty on the mark with that. With the radios themselves, then we split that section out, and I contacted SEH to, like we had talked about at committee, to go through that quote with us, make sure we're moving in the right direction. The pricing's good, everything's looking good. So you'll actually see that at committee if we get the time to get that all together by committee. So that's where that sits.
It just was more, I know, it was more than we talked about initially and where you were hoping to get by. And it's, I think it's important. So
Right. Thank you for that. So we'll get by. The plan right now is to get by with the radios. The radios are the major issue. Whereas if we have a radio failure, we have to replace all the PLCs, or we have to replace all the radios at the same time. Sorry, we have to replace all the radios at the same time. If we have a radio failure, if we have a PLC failure, you have to replace the PLC and all the radios at the same time. So we're buying a little bit of time to explore what do we do with the SCADA system? What kind of visibility we need into it? Do we want to add any functionality? Do we want pressure sensors here? Do we want as part of that is going to be going to other communities and, that did significant improvements recently and look at what they have and see how that applies to us, within reason. I still have a lot of security and things in mind. So there's nothing, I'm a big fan of a physical stop. Nothing really replaces a physical stop on site where you can hear and smell and in the wastewater taste,
No.
I'm still dumbfounded on some of the manual things you guys do down there with
It is.
things that.
It is an aged plant.
Please
It
tell
is an
me you do
aged
not
plant.
taste the water.
No.
Okay. Thank you.
But I will
I
say,
just need to-
all of our
Smell it.
operators and myself included, we will walk into the plant and go, what's wrong? You can
That's
smell it, you can
that's
hear it.
fine.
you can
That's-
smell
yeah,
it.
that
Something
feels-
going- There's something going on because you get used to it.
But
And,
sometimes that gets
someday
a little
you'll-
unhealthy then, I don't
Someday you'll
need
look
you
like him.
tasting it.
Look like who? Oh, yes. I didn't think it was.
Many years in
You got the taster joke right away. So yeah, that's where that sits. We're looking at doing the radios to get us out of the immediate jam that we're in. And then, okay, how do we get some visibility into this? How do we bring the system into the 21st century? The other side of that would then be to how do we get more visibility into the storage system and things? So that's where that sits. Yeah, see you at the committee. Thank you guys.
I've heard a lot of good things about the monthly billing already, so.
As
Exciting.
we have to.
So.
It was, the monthly billing was a customer centric focused initiative. I mean, we looked at the system and said, we have to.
Want my
be-
check?
What's that?
You want my check?
But I think Jen's still here, actually. She is inundated with work right now with court and everything too. We looked at, we have to do these meters. They're regulated. There's something we have to do. What is the value add for the customer and what we do? And that's what we always look at that. How are we adding value to the process, to the customer and the end user?
We've already found some leaks from the
Oh,
new
yeah.
system, so it's
Yeah.
been
Just monthly billing. I mean, people have caught leaks way faster. We would have been 2 months, 3 months.
That's a big
That's
bonus
huge.
for sure.
We, one of the pipes, that I talked about previously was a broken pipe in somebody's basement, between two walls where they didn't even notice. I mean, they were going through hundreds of cubic feet.
But took down the milk house. Yep.
That's awesome.
Catching it fast. Yeah, it was really a customer centered push on that one.
Yeah.
A long process. It's good that you probably got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had been planning on that for a long time. Over 10 years, actually.
Definitely congratulations on
Thank
that.
you.
'Cause that's,
Yeah, hopefully things smooth out after we get into ACH and
Yeah, ACH has taken off. We have, well over 100. I just followed up with her on that. Well over 100 people.
People
signed up,
haven't yet, please sign up for ACH.
which is 10% overall. I mean, that saves postage. That's immediate,
Yep.
that's an easy process. So, I've also heard that the monthly billing is a much more palatable bill, with the average residential is well under $100 a month.
definitely easy for budgeting and
Yeah.
making sure that,
Thank you for the feedback on that. I'm gonna relay that to Jen.
yeah.
It's been a lot of work. This was a heavy lift. And it will continue to be for the next foreseeable future until, things smooth out, processes get, built up and we get into a rhythmic. We're still getting a lot of, customer questions that need to be answered. Obviously, that is sensitive and takes a lot of, staff time to do, to make sure that we're getting people accurate information timely. But all normal things. So, thank you all.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
Yes.
thanks. All right, next up, library.
Good evening, everyone.
Yeah.
So during January, I attended the 2-day Wild Wisconsin Winter Web Conference via Zoom. And through that, I was able to attend a variety of presentations ranging from community support to library collections to programming. And then the last week of the month, I spent most of my time working on the library's annual report, which needs to be submitted to the Department of Public Instruction before the end of February. In January, we circulated 3,432 items. We had 124 computer uses, 1,584 ebook checkouts, and we had 20 new patrons. We added 227 new items to our shelves for circulation. And most of these were actually books that were ordered in December, but because Ingram has so many people that they're trying to get on board, they were backlogged and things got back ordered. So we finally got those in January. And I continue to work with IFLIS to set up EDI, which is our electronic data interchange, ordering with Ingram. And then once that's fully set up, book orders will come directly into our ILS Sierra, which is IFLIS's integrated library system. And it will save a lot of time for me, receiving the books as they come into the library. We had many of our regular programs that occurred in January, including Tech Help, Lunch with the Librarian, Fiber Friends, Storytime, Lego and Chess Clubs, and the WMPL book discussion. And I delivered library materials to the patrons at Evergreen and Millside Apartments and Christian Community Home. And then we held our first ever craft supply swap, where community members brought their unwanted but usable craft supplies to the library during a collection period. And then during the swap, those that donated were able to come that first hour of the swap and get new supplies and take home. Most of them said they had to make promises that they wouldn't bring back home things that they had originally donated. But we had over 100 people attend. And so this was something that was very popular. And thank you, Nicole, for coming and helping us set up for that. That was awesome.
You gonna do that again?
Yes, so we're definitely going to do it again. I think a lot of people think we should do it twice a year. I think it's probably going to be a once a year endeavor for us. Trying to store all of the supplies in the library was a little tricky. And then the leftover things were donated to the Hallberg Center for the Arts in Wyoming, Minnesota for their craft supply drive. And I am very happy to say that the phone drama is finally over.
Brightspeed finally let go of their number, huh? Wow.
Easy IT. Yeah, so Friday, our number was ported over to Evergreen Tel and everything seems to be working well. And so now it's just a matter of staff learning how to transfer calls and
Yeah.
all of that kind of stuff.
Keep Mike's number handy. He'll answer calls all the time.
Yeah.
He will train you. He's great.
He has been awesome through this whole process. And then I just wanted to briefly touch on, so last month, the library board approved the 2026-2031 strategic plan. So this is something that we had worked on for probably about 9 months. We had a strategic plan committee that worked on it. So that was made up of myself, Deb Rose, library board member, Michelle Jacobs, staff member, Barb Wetzel from the Friends of the Library, and then Melanie Bazile, who is a library patron and community member. So we put a lot of thought and effort into this. We had a lot of help from the IFLS library system, and Caitlin from there came and helped us with that. So if you have any questions about it, please feel free to come and visit me at the library. I don't want to take up a lot of your time here during the meeting talking about it, but I'm more than happy to discuss what our goals and activities are over the next 5 years. So any questions? All right, well, thank you.
Thanks, Ann. All right, next up, fire.
Hey, everybody. Last month we had 11 runs total, 7 are in the village of Osceola, 2 in the town of Farmington, 1 structure fire, mutual aid with Allied Garfield, and 1 rescue, ice rescue, with Alden. Run breakdown was 1 structure fire, 7 medical lift assists, 1 ice water rescue, and 2 alarms. The training for January was stuffed envelopes and sent out for the fireman's pump. And we also did chimney fire response and training. Upcoming trainings, we did HIPAA last night and bloodborne pathogens. And at the end of the month, we have officer elections. And then last but not least is fireman's ball is Saturday night. So you're all invited. Everybody's invited. Hopefully I'll be seeing you there. So, any questions?
Was that mutual aid? Was that UW?
Yes.
So where are the next adjacent fire halls? Dresser?
Dresser, and then Garfield was just a block down, and then the Alden.
Was that one right in Wateroo's?
Yes. Okay. It's about a block away from
And where's the next one from there?
Alden, Dresser, and Emory.
And Amory, yeah.
What's our next one to the south? Somerset?
Yep, Somerset, and Deer Park, and
Park.
Do we have any mutual aid with those guys if something happened that direction?
Somerset, we do. Yeah. So
I didn't realize there was one right in Wanderers. I was trying to think about who would get there faster, what contributed to the delay.
the only capability that they're lacking is they only have 10,000 gallons of water in stock in the ground. So they don't have much water, so we take water from the and Dresser all night long. So,
You got the ball.
all right, thanks.
Thanks, Paul. Okay, next up, building inspection and administration.
Building inspection's pretty boring. You got 1 sprinkler system out in the industrial park for $80,000 value. Usually January is a slow month. We should be seeing the building permit for the Gunn apartment complex shortly. And then some other various ones here and there too. So there's some growth happening this year, which we're excited about. And then I'll dive right into admin. Eric and I did a River and Third Street informational meeting for the public last week. We had about 15 people there. Kind of tell them the process that we're going through. How it's going to switch to a one-way from River around to Third. Making sure that they're aware that there will be heavy equipment on site. We asked to make sure if they're worried about their basement that, we can go in and take pictures ahead of time, making sure everything is, when they're done, the exact same way as when it started. So there's no impact there. And just kind of give them the timeline of potential dates. We won't have a secured timeline until we have a contractor selected after this bid process happens, which we should be starting tonight. But overall, good feedback. They appreciated the meeting to be listened to and for us to present. Todd and I and Eric attended the Verizon Tower pre-construction meeting over in Oki Park. They should be, he said March 1st, they should be starting on that, at least start pouring footings. So sometime in March, we can expect that. The build out of the tower itself is only 30 days. But after that, Verizon takes their time to get, or Dolan in this case, takes their time to get the antenna stuff up. So we're still looking a few months out from the overall full install of that tower.
Any intrusion with regard to the Braves practice schedule?
Shouldn't be on that. No, they should be done by the time, the construction of the tower should be done by the
Right,
time.
but the installation of the radio, so there's a ladder truck there, I'm assuming.
It should happen during the daytime, during normal work hours, so it
Got
should have no
Yeah.
impact on the Braves. That they're aware of that it being an existing ball field, so we can always put conditions on that too, but I don't foresee any lapse or lap of services
Is there
there.
a local contact with Verizon that you can maybe forward to the board in case we get
It's gonna
customer?
be Dolan Realty, because they're the leasees actually. Dolan owns it and they lease it out to Verizon.
Okay.
And Dolan's based out of Missouri. Their contractor who's building it though is local.
I was thinking more so if community residents come to us and say, how do we get in touch with Verizon about getting started with them now that there's a tower in town? Like, that's what I wanted to know.
Your local Verizon shop, wherever that would be, I'm guessing, but, when it goes live, I'll let you know, but right now it's kind of at the mercy of Dolan and their contractor.
And the timeline been shared with, storm siren, folks. that
Oh,
we're gonna
we'll
do?
make sure that's the next thing. We just met with them last week, so we'll get that lined up to making sure that when the tower is up, then we can get it installed.
Great to have a siren in place for storm season.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
So,
me.
once
Yep.
that's installed,
Coordination.
we'll get that lined up so we can install it on the site. Start of the new year, I've been reached out to by 2 Minnesota businesses looking to come across the border. Some of the political landscape over there has opened up their eyes and potentially coming to Wisconsin for relocation. I am currently in communication with them, looking for sites. The good news is the village does own a few parts of land that we can help get these businesses hopefully over into Osceola, which would be a big boost for us and for our population at hand, and potentially creating lots of jobs. One of them is a 250 person employer, so there are some hefty employment numbers from some of these companies looking to move over. These will be active recruitment. So a lot of other business or cities, Hudson, St. Croix Falls, they want to dip their toe in Wisconsin, not go all the way in. So here we're good situated for that as we're close to a lot of the population bases they want to be close to. Planning Commission is undertaking Chapter 219 revisions, which is our zoning, which involves commercial, industrial, and residential. We've been getting input into that of what we'd like to see changed. As we change it, we'll be running through some of the ordinances and bring them to the board probably towards the end of the year. It's a very labor-intensive process for me. And getting their feedback and trying to wrap that into a coherent ordinance is a very big undertaking. And a lot of this is being driven from our comprehensive plan. That's generally the process that you do is you approve the comprehensive plan and then you try to implement the comprehensive plan into your zoning. And that's one of those things we're looking at doing, making sure that are the items in the comprehensive plan something we want to enforce or just have it as guidelines? So that's kind of what we're going through right now is the planning commission level. And as we get further along, the board will be involved in the approval process once the ordinances go further. Preparations are well underway for the elections. Carrie's been running her new Badger books, making sure they're updated for the election coming up. Is it April 4th? 7th. April 7th is the election date. So there will be a new system for checking in when you vote this year. It should go a lot smoother and faster for check-ins, and we're excited about that. And you guys have some trains coming up too, right? The ice rink is open, as we mentioned. We finally got that open. The weather allowed it. So thank you, Todd, for getting that going. The Whispering Acres PUD, which is south of the airport, is under contract by a new developer. So we might be seeing some headway with that very soon. The PUD was approved. So they still have to operate within the PUD guidelines. So we might see a development or at least a plat coming forward on the next coming months for that. With a new,
That would go to plan first, right?
yep,
Yeah.
with a new developer. So that's exciting to have. This month, we're having a stakeholder meeting for Shilberg Park about how we want to improve that park and make it into a more accessible installation, whether it be for walking, running, biking. We invited some of the local biking groups, trail running groups, the school, the Boy Scouts. So we should have a pretty good idea of what we want to do with that park. The Osceola Trails and Parks Committee is looking for a project and spend some of the resources on. So this is really what led this is they want to know what they can provide their money for to help projects. And this is kind of going to be the steering for that of what projects we'd like to see in Shilberg Park, making sure it's going to be a well-used park. We saw how important it is to design something for people that are going to use it, that they design it. The skate park is a prime example of that. I saw kids skateboarding there on Monday, just yesterday. I think it was warm out and they're already using the skate park. So if you build it for people that are going to use it, it will be used. So it's important that we listen to the stakeholders when we design Shilberg Park. They're also working on the Osceola Trails and committee is also working on Osceola Creek Trail. It's currently DNR owned land. I should be getting a resolution from the DNR shortly, allowing the village to have an easement on their property to allow the Osceola Trails and Parks Group to conduct bog bridges along the creek. Part of that project too is Cedar Bend is interested in potentially building a pedestrian bridge across Osceola Creek too, which would then allow us greater access to the parking lot behind the Busy Bean. So it kind of brings in Eric's nice comment of making that lot more available to people. That we're working together, trying to find many people to allow us to do these type of projects. As we all know, funds are always tight for unbudgeted items. So we're grateful for all the support that these groups are willing to provide to make our parks much more vibrant. And then I just want to thank admin for taking all the tax collection for the month. They did a great job, and we should be settling up with the county either this week or next week, the rest of the taxing jurisdiction. So we'll be writing some big checks the next few weeks to the county, the school district, and the tech school. Any questions on the admin report?
I got a couple. I was holding them till the end. Sorry. So I'm gonna go.
I'll ask a quick question before
For it.
you're doing that. With the parking utilization behind, Busy Bean, if that comes to fruition, can we make sure that we're talking to the bid about that as well for, see if they want to have any action into that?
To pave it and make it flatter. Yeah, that's the biggest problem we have right now is, and I know they have some money that they're willing to do. Once they have hopefully new director in place shortly, we can get that conversation rolling again.
It's got like 30 grand or something, right?
More than that.
100? Okay, it was a big number.
Yeah, it's far more than that.
Going off of memory.
Yeah. Yeah, because Wyatt and I were in conversation already about what to do with that parking space.
Back to River Street. I remember, Eric, you talked about doing some surveys or having a contingency for surveying money along there. What was it? Do you remember why? We have a concern about where
Yeah, there was,
things were.
came up at one of the early meetings that the property lines were incorrect at one of the parsons.
For an outfall?
Yeah, and that's what it was too. And, we're looking at multiple outfalls. We're actually looking at eliminating two of them. With this project, creating a new one and hopefully eliminating a third one in the future, all on private property right now. So.
It clicked in my head because you talked about doing project documentation and taking photos. I think that I'm gonna guess there's gonna be some pretty deep excavation out along River Street and impacting people, and I'm sure JNS is gonna get poked at, or we'll get drug into claims that old basements are jiggling around and rocks are falling out.
That's exactly what I want the documentation.
Yeah, you said it loosely. I'd highly, highly, highly say we go into
Be a lot of
anybody that wants to
gravel
let
and
us in their
sediment
basement,
moving
take
around.
some pictures. It's a great idea.
Yep.
Yeah, so I brought that up at the public involvement meeting and I basically requested that we be able to do it. They were willing to let us in and document it before work is done, just so you can be sure.
And it's for their own good, so.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
The church was
Yeah.
open to it. They wanted to do it.
Where did we leave off with the sidewalk on Gaughan's side? Who owns that? Who's gonna own is there street lighting going in there?
So there's street lighting that's going in.
Is this on the agenda later?
Yeah, we could wait.
We can wait. Perfect. That's fine. Verizon tower, did you ever meet with that homeowner and talk about all the vegetation that's gotta come down?
We did mention that the trees are gonna have to come in, so we will have to talk to them about, cause it will force, if the trees gotta come down, it will be on the developers or the builder's cost to build those, take those trees down.
As long as the homeowner.
Cause right now, we'd only have to cut it down to the property line, but the tree's dead anyways.
There's a lot there.
So, I want to talk to the property owner and just make sure that we can just remove them on the cost of Dolan. And then the property owner doesn't have to worry about taking down his own trees.
I don't want us getting stuck with a half a tree later because they only did part of it.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden.
That was brought up at our pre-con meeting.
Shellberg Park, I think the park group is great. In the back of my mind, I think about all the times we've given parks to other entities. They've done work and then can't maintain it. And that's a big undertaking for them. You know, there's other trails in town and they seem to hold up okay. I don't know what Todd's impact is for long-term maintenance on them. That's just a bigger bite.
Yeah, we're making sure that we just want to get feedback of what people want, and then from there, really see what the feasibility of those type of projects are. For instance, trail running is as simple as having basically a groomed trail, like a dirt trail. They just want markers like half mile, quarter mile, whatever it might be. If that's all they want, that's an easy undertaking
Yeah,
to do.
as long as it maintains.
In terms of building structures for like, single track mountain biking, that's a far bigger undertaking. I do agree with that.
As long as, perfect. The bog bridge, the stuff behind, we'll just say about the lower mill pond. What's the church's involvement in it?
The church has expressed interest to build a pedestrian bridge, unrelated, but we're trying to tie that in with them too. In the past, they've said that they'd be willing to talk about potentially pedestrian bridge there because they have a lot of people that come to that little corner church there and it'd be easier parking.
Everybody else,
Yep.
okay. And then the DNR property, is that just related to
The bog bridge that I was talking about, because they want to do it all along the creek. The village only owns up to a certain point. So the DNR has to give the village access to do it, which then we'll give an MOU with the Trails Group. So we have to be the entity that allows it though. So that's where it gets a little confusing.
I was looking at the GIS right now. The DNR property doesn't start until you get quite a ways back to the northeast.
Yep. I just had a meeting with
We
them.
want the bridge to be up that far.
No, that's different. The bridge is gonna cross where the Busy Bean is. They're creating a bog bridge along the creek side. So
Okay.
you can have a walking path around it.
So so it's not a bridge to the other side?
At what they're proposing right now, that would not be the bridge. That's why I said those are two different
bridges.
bridges type
Okay.
things, yeah.
So who's gonna build the bridge across the creek?
That would be potentially Cedar Bend and the Trails Group.
So they're still looking. Okay, but neither the DNR would be involved because of the creek side.
Yep.
I was blending some things together there.
It's, once again, all this might not happen. We're just in communication with all this.
I think everybody would be in favor of a bridge and utilize. Okay, that might be it. Hang on, let me turn to the next page. I think that's it. Thanks.
Anybody else have any questions for Devin on the?
Oh, I had one more.
section?
Sorry, because it wasn't on this list. I thought it was in one of your weekly emails. I looked back, it was in Todd's.
Mhm.
There was a pending meeting with the Fair Board.
Oh, I couldn't make it. I was dealing with this really bad that week.
Yep.
So I did meet with Brandon from the Fair Board, and I said that the village is all in favor of helping however we can to make this the best event for everyone. I expressed that the village wants to work with the Fair Board, just as long as we plan to have a pre-site meeting sometime in April or May to really line out where the parking is going to be and those type of things. But we really want to meet earlier. I really wanted to make the meeting. Unfortunately, I had no voice, so I couldn't even speak. But I did relay that to Brandon, with the Fair Board about our willingness to work with them and that we want to make sure this is the best event for the public.
100% agree early. I'd like to see you do March so you could come back to us in April and then there's can be some banter back and forth. I'd hate to have this wait till April, May, and then not us on the board, not hear about it until August, and then all of a sudden, boom, it's September.
Yeah, and we realized too that they also realized too that they have to submit their permit earlier so we can get notes to them way ahead of time too. They can't submit it in July,
July,
like last year.
That's the same with every
Yeah.
vendor permit we get.
yeah.
Well, especially one that brings in thousands of people.
Yeah, okay. If we can get, I don't, if that can be a topic maybe for, maybe Todd, your report next month or something, I'd like to keep tracking it. Good for everybody. Okay, now I'm done, promise.
Anybody else? All right, thanks, Devin. 5B is not applicable, so we're gonna move to item 6 on the agenda, which is the public hearing portion of our meeting to accept written and oral testimony regarding Village Ordinance 2601. We're gonna be amending Chapter 201, utility, to add Article 6 stormwater utility to the village code. So at this point, we are open to accept written and oral testimony from anybody as a public hearing. I don't, do we need to have motion to open this public hearing? or
Yes,
not?
please.
I'll make a motion. And I'll second.
A motion by Mike and a second by Nicole
Open the public hearing.
to open the public hearing. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, say no. All right, we are open.
Kim O'Connell, 504 Third Avenue. On your key points here on this, you're gonna set another resolution for the amount of what this storm is gonna cost us. Why isn't that in here? We don't know what the cost is. So you're gonna pass a resolution and not tell us what the cost is. That's later, but I mean, why, it could be any amount then. Why would we pass something and we not know what we're gonna get charged? I don't understand why that isn't in there. That to me didn't seem right, that you didn't set, what the rates were or anything, which should be easy to set. Cause when it first came out, you said $2.75 and stuff, but now could be 10 times that. It could be the same as the water bill, could be $60 a month, $80. So I don't know why you should pass that. And then I think on the end where it says, when you have an administrative appeal, you should maybe talk to your corp counsel. Shouldn't that go through the BOA? Usually an administrative appeal goes to a board of adjustments. So that's all I have. Thank you.
Thanks, Kim. Five B, it said that there was no report for the Osceola, Wisconsin Main Street. It said NA on the, yeah, it said NA on the. Sorry. Anybody else on public hearing? I'll entertain a motion to close it.
Public hearing.
Second it.
Okay, the motion by Mike and a second by Nicole to close public hearing. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, say no. Motion carries. All right, after that is 6A, any action that we may take on the public hearing. And I think that Kim brings up a good point, but I think we also, don't we have a rate schedule at the back of our village code, which is why we wouldn't put it here? We would add this part to village code, but then we also have a rate and fee schedule that gets monitored.
Yeah, resolution.
It's gonna say, we're gonna have another resolution to take that and put that into the fee schedule, right? At the end of our code? Yeah.
Yeah, so this is the ordinance to be able to create the utility, but doesn't set the rates. So I'll just kick us off here a little bit, but apologize. My colleague Emily wasn't able to be here tonight. A personal item came up. We have online Lily Hawk, who is involved with Emily on the creation of the utility and both the writing of the ordinance and also some of the background information, some stuff that we talked about before with setting rates and how all that works. So, I don't know specifics you want to go through, but this is basically creation of the utility. Rates, as we mentioned, would be set as part of a separate resolution. And we did talk about rates specifically, like at last month's.
Yeah, it was a recommendation to do the 275 with the averages. That was Emily.
Would that additional resolution be something that would also go through public hearing then before being adopted?
Resolutions do not need a public hearing, but we can host one.
Okay, I mean, given the fact that there's expressed interest, I would think that that would be reasonable, so.
There's been some really good discussion on it, and I think Todd did a pretty good analysis of making an assumption of what he could spend in a year, and I think everybody's conversation in those meetings about it talked about, let's try it for a year. Your staff did a great job of giving us a range of numbers. We picked something in the middle to try it. It hasn't been fixed in a while, so I think there's probably an outstanding need. So worst case, we're 10 cents too high. I'm sure Todd can find a place to fix it.
Oh yeah, we have far over severe repairs to do. We're probably, $200,000-300,000 of repairs that we could do right now if we wanted to.
People approved worse things.
And we're easing into this, so.
Doesn't this ordinance, it talks about calculating fees. And the method that's listed here is what the SEH person went through with us, both at the hearing Nicole and I were at and at the board meeting last month.
Right.
275 was calculated using this method.
It's like
So-
$2.50 to $3.
Yeah, we had that range of where to be at, and yeah, that was.
So I guess my point is the likelihood that it's suddenly going to become $80 is not real.
For a residential home. Because a residential is one unit, which would be the minimum.
We have a close ballpark figure based on SEH and
Yeah,
the calculations used by so.
This ordinance would have a start date for the utility of April 15th, so it'd be on the May utility bill.
And we would need to set and adopt another ordinance for rates,
Resolution.
another resolution to establish rates before this comes into effect anyway, right?
We first need to approve the ordinance before we get into the rates.
Have to add it to the code first, so. Okay, I will entertain a motion to adopt this ordinance. Thank you, Ron. Is there a second? Thank you, Arvid. We have a motion and a second to adopt ordinance 2601. It's the first one of the year. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, say no. Motion carries and ordinance is adopted. So yeah, could you please make sure that we get a public hearing on the next item that we do related to rates? Okay, that takes care of item 6, public hearing. We're moving to 7, other business. Discussion and possible action regarding 7A, MPS parking enforcement, safety sticks. Excuse me, sorry.
Mike, you on there? I can't read those names.
Mike Asher?
Yeah, Mike, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Are you presenting a PowerPoint from your screen, or do you just want me to run through the PowerPoint on the packet?
Yeah, why don't you run through it on your side? I've got Jason Flom is with us as well. I think he's going to kick it off for us.
All right, you're up.
Jason? Jason, we can't hear you.
Muted.
Apparently he's gone AWOL on us.
I think I hit.
He's muted. Can you unmute him? No, he should be good.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we
Yeah,
can hear
we're
you
good.
now, Jason.
Apologize, I had some technical difficulties there, but yeah, thank you for the opportunity to speak to you all today. Appreciate it. So Devin, I think I can't see what you're showing on the screen, but I think what I'll do is I'll give you just the very quick overview of MPS and then take you
I have
guys.
your whole presentation here, so if you just keep going from the start to the finish, we should be fine.
Okay, so maybe just to kick it off and introduce myself and Mike. So I've been with the MPS for the last 13 years and head up corporate development and a lot of the strategy initiatives. Mike, who also is on the call, really heads up our customer success and operations within MPS. So MPS, the quick commercial, we've been doing vision-based technologies for the last 12 or 13 years. Really, we're a pioneer in developing this technology and patenting it. And really, what it's all about is monitoring parking environments. And at the end of the day, monitoring and enforcing rules that cities put in place. It's really as simple as that. So we use our vision technologies in parking in parking lots, on-street environments, and in this case, I think the focus initially is on restricted parking areas, areas that you are never supposed to park in, and create candidly safety hazards. When folks park in a crosswalk, it obstructs other vehicles' views. If you park in front of a fire hydrant, there's obvious safety concerns there as well. So, our technologies have been kind of battle tested throughout the United States. We're in over 37 cities, over 1,000 locations, really have touched many different use cases. There's very few use cases that we haven't been able to effectively address. But at the end of the day, our service is really around adapting to the rules and challenges that cities have using technology. So in the case of Osceola, we've had the chance to walk the streets and listen to some of the city's challenges and goals, and we've come up with a proposal that you've all probably had a chance to look at, but I'll be happy to kind of walk you through the highlights. So, and what comes as a surprise to most cities and even private operators that we work with is a challenge or a behavior or an issue that most cities don't know that they actually have. And what is that? That's the fact that there's a shocking amount of bad behavior in parking that may surprise some, maybe not others. But we've been able to demonstrate over the last 10 years and tens of millions of parking sessions that in many parking environments, a very high portion of people that park are not following the rules. And by our statistics, in many instances, it's as high as 40% of the people are staying well beyond the stated timelines, or failing to pay what they should, or parking in dangerous settings that frankly you should never park in, like a fire hydrant. So what we've done is take a stab at laying out what would our technology look like across Osceola. Just as a first blush, we took some liberties to say, all right, what if we used our whole portfolio of technologies to really address holistically the whole city? Obviously, we don't need to do that. We can do just subsegments of it. But for the illustrative purposes here, we did show what it would look like if we laid out the technology across the city. And I'll start real quickly and kind of go through this. But on Cascade Street, the main street, what we proposed in order to monitor your 2-hour time limits was to put up a handful of overhead cameras that basically monitor vehicles as they enter and exit that 2-block area. And the policies today is a 2-hour time limit, so we would flag any vehicles that stayed within that zone longer than 2 hours. When that happens, using our algorithms and AI and also human verification, we then submit a violation notice for a representative of the city to review with them, and hit the go or no go button. So at the end of the day, it's really left to you to decide, is this a valid violation or not, and do you want to enforce it? We provide the tools for you to do so, and all the verification and backup documentation for that. So zone one, the first pass was looking at just monitoring that 2 hour maximum stay limit. The second pass was taking a look at the kind of what we call restricted parking areas or no parking areas. So a handful of fire hydrants, crosswalks that typically or historically have been abused. And so that's the second pass here. And then the third pass was, all right, looking forward, taking a pass at monitoring the time limits in various parking lot settings. So I don't think we need to kind of dive into all of the pictures here, but you can see as you page through, we superimposed where the cameras would be ideally placed and the areas of interest that the cameras would be focused on. So again, I think at the end of the day, we've been had the good fortune of dealing with a lot of different cities, all different sizes, other cities within Wisconsin, and each city is a little bit different, and each city has their own pain points. But I think the beauty of our system, it allows us to address most of those pain points. As I mentioned before, I think there's very few instances where we haven't found a creative way to kind of match our technology with your needs to change behavior. So at the end of the day, again, enforcement is a tool to change behavior, bad behavior, whether that's parking in places you shouldn't park or parking beyond the length of stay that you are allowed to park. So the key to a lot of downtown areas and main streets is turnover. And we hear this from, most of the cities we work with. The turnover is the key component to creating open space and parking availability for parking patrons of the businesses. What we find, and comes as a surprise to a lot of cities as we do pilots or go into production, is that we find that a significant number of cars stay well beyond that 2 hour maximum stay. And then diving a little bit deeper under the covers, it turns out that in many cities, it's actually the employees in many cases that are staying and taking up valuable parking spaces and parking on Main Street when in fact they probably are better suited and to park in the parking lots or save that valuable space for patrons. So it really is about creating space turnover and parking availability for patrons of businesses. That's kind of the fundamental tenet of enforcement, and consistent enforcement is really the only way to change behavior. So our system obviously uses vision-based cameras to monitor 24/7 and provide that consistent enforcement that really is not possible with manual feet on the street. So that's kind of the quick overview. Hopefully I didn't take too much of your time, but really appreciate it and happy to address any questions that you may have.
I understand this technology, right? Just using the liquor store parking lot, you must read a license plate on the way in and then measure when it leaves. Is that accurate?
That's correct.
Out of that liquor store parking lot, I think the village owns 19 spots, right?
Some of the ballpark, yes.
What do we do with the other 17?
It would come down to the uses of what they're gonna be. The parking lots, yeah, and the people who live there would be absolutely exempt from it because you would put their license plate into it. The parking lot is also one of those areas where they're just showing what you can do. Tonight is the kind of proposal of looking, getting direction from board. This is something they even want the appetite for. At the November board meeting, there was a motion saying at least let's explore this, what it might look like, and ideas. Tonight's not tying you to any decision whatsoever, more or less learning how the system works. And if we want to go further down to figure out if this is something we want to explore. It was originally brought up as a safety issue of I wanted to explore around hydrants, crosswalks, and potential dangerous issues to make sure that we are really protecting our citizens for the crosswalks, especially what happened. We've had 2 incidences of pedestrians getting hit this summer or this year. So one of those things, you have a camera on it, you can see more information too and provide those kind of things. And then the police wanted to look at the avenue of enforcing our own existing ordinances that we currently have that are not practical for us to enforce as they are now, as they are way too labor intensive to be even actively enforced. So it was kind of a many-fold thing of why we're looking at doing this. And tonight is really kind of, getting direction to something we want to look at, not look at. What scope do you want to continue down? So all these questions are relevant in that discussion that you're having. And you are right that people would have to, like, especially the private residences, either you would have to validate or their license plate would have to be on record where they're exempt from all meters going in and out.
Well, to that one in particular, Frank and Michelle at the dry cleaners own 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6 of them. And they wouldn't have residents, they'd have transient people. Let's go back to a big picture question. So Eric reminded us in June that we were gonna table this until after the bridge. How did it end up on the November meeting?
Let me address that. These are two separate issues. We tabled the 2-hour or the meter parking until after the bridge. This, what we're looking at now, is an existing ordinance been on book for over 30 years for 2-hour parking. And over the last 18 years or whatever, 15 years while I was at the village, we did write parking tickets. But back then the parking tickets were $5 and $10 each. You have to mark the tires, come back 2.5 hours later, make sure 2 hours had passed, make sure the vehicle hadn't moved, and then take at least 10 or 15 minutes to write a ticket for a $5 or $10 ticket. And we had businesses, in fact, up till I retired, we had businesses that still called and said, I'm tired of these vehicles parking in front of my business for hours on end, enforce 2-hour parking. We would try to do it, but it came down to manpower, staffing, and everything else. A few years ago, we upped the parking, no parking violations to $30 a ticket. Most cities, it's $70, $80, $90 a ticket, right? It still comes down to manpower. We haven't had enough officers to fill shifts, let alone come out and work enforcement and parking enforcement for these businesses who didn't want vehicles parked out in front of their business all day, right? This is an existing ordinance that's been on the book for over 30 years. We have enforced it when we could. We've had requests to enforce it. And now with technology, we can enforce it. And if you've maybe been in town for a while, you've seen vehicles parked on the corners where there's no parking. First and Cascade, great spot. You've seen vehicles parked in crosswalks. You've seen vehicle parked, in spots you're not supposed to park just for a quick in and out. That's how accidents happen. Now, using technology, we can enforce the areas that we want to enforce, especially crosswalks, no parking zones, stoplight in town, other areas, high traffic areas, and 2-hour parking at barely no cost with an extra additional screening measure in place to avoid people who have permission to park there at private parking spots. This is something that I personally have wanted to see for a lot of years because it just enhances an already existing law that we have on the books ordinance.
So maybe that begs the question, because it sounds like the tone's changed. If Eric has any validity in what he said, it doesn't sound like the businesses are interested.
It sounds like there's a mixture of some that don't want it and some that do. I mean, that's to be expected. Like there's individual groups, right? Some people want
to hear who does want it.
We have the bottom line is, are we gonna repeal the 2-hour parking ordinance? Is that what we're talking about here? Or are we gonna keep it enforced and keep it standard? Because communities who do this consistently don't have an issue with it. People know it's 2-hour parking. They come in, they park, they know they have to leave, they leave, right? This is not a change from what we have. It's just a way to use technology to enforce it. So. That's my take on it.
I would probably agree, Ron. It must be hard to enforce because I did a public request for information today to see how many tickets have been written. There's been 5 in 2 years.
Right.
So I wonder, is it because they don't have the resources to do it, or is there just not an issue?
Resources and basically resources and the issue priority, right? When you have less resources, you have higher priority calls.
So to the safety thing too, the one other accident that happened in downtown wasn't even on a street that's being addressed by this.
Yeah, I can't speak to that, but I can say
You
that.
know where the accident was, you can.
Oh, I can't, because I know that when vehicles park where they're not supposed to, even for 2 minutes to run in and out to go somewhere, an accident can happen.
It can, but it hasn't.
But the other accident was on Cascade.
Yes.
Was it on Chieftain or Cascade?
It was on Cascade.
At a crosswalk?
No, it was not in a crosswalk, no.
So Ron does bring up a good question. Why do we have a 2-hour ordinance?
That's my comment today to a few people that asked. I said, we're not enforcing the ordinance as is, so either we're gonna enforce it or we repeal it. Cause right now we currently have signs up and down Cascade saying 2-hour parking only. And some say 5 minutes and some say 15. We have different spots, but
Right, but where did that come from? I mean, Eric is saying none of the businesses want it. It had to have been wanted by somebody at some point.
And I'm saying.
And I suspect it was the businesses.
I had a conversation with Frank today too about that, and he is in favor of it in front of his building. However, he's the only one and he's been able to manage it. And the problem that he's had has been the people over at the thrift shop across the street. He said, you know what, park in my other spots. You know, if you're gonna be here all day, just don't use the 2 spots in front of his business. So that and the post office are really the only like heavy transient people that want to keep rotation. Otherwise, I'm pretty sure Eric listed every other business downtown.
He didn't, Mike, because I got a
With-
couple in my head.
With the exception of Chieftain Street, which we're not even addressing here, because I would agree, there's probably some issues on Chieftain, but we don't have any, we're not addressing anything there.
And
Yeah, but I think this was just like a proposal. I mean, we could add Chieftain Street if that's what you would like.
We're finding a solution to a problem that I don't think anybody wants to solve.
I'm just saying that you brought up Chieftain Street, so I'm telling you a solution if you wanted to add it.
I think,
You don't
like
have
Eric said,
to.
there's an underlying agenda here, and I'm not interested in it. And I'm gonna continue to poke holes in this until it
wait.
goes away.
man, what'd you say?
Dan?
So there was also 1,500 parking.
Type out a response so we can read it.
You try that again? One more time, Van.
There was over 1,500 signatures prior to this meeting. People had opposed it. Parking was
And 1,500 people opposed it.
Yeah, I think that was related to the signatures that were circulated last time. But that was when the conversation was centered around
I think
paid.
there was another 600 yet today, though, just on
Paid
the current
parking.
agenda.
I think there's a lot of misinformation out there though.
Well, it's unfortunate that the conversation is not being cast in a light that's productive because it centers around paid parking
Parking meters.
and parking meters. And I think that's unfortunately biasing the conversation, but
Object to that.
I'm- Can we not have gallery? You've already, like, we have to keep. Yeah, sorry, but.
yeah, and I don't want to debate the merits of whether or not a business is or for or opposed it. I mean,
Exactly.
businesses come and go, so there's going to be other businesses that may or may not be in favor of doing something. But I think the bigger issue here is that we have laws, and I mean, I seem to recall getting challenged, even myself, about whether or not there was appropriate enforcement going on for other ordinances that are already on the books. So are we going to enforce the ordinances that we have, or are we not? And if we're not, then maybe they need to be changed.
And, you know, Mike, I heard you refer to alternative motives. Is it financial? Is that what you're getting at?
I don't see how this is not gonna track down the path of.
Because if it was well, that's a separate issue. Right now, we're talking about
Enforcement, yeah.
enforcement of existing laws for 2-hour parking, including handicap areas, no parking zones, and other dangerous spots.
Fire hydrants.
Fire hydrants. This is what we're looking at.
No,
Whether-
And I want to say that the proposal was basically 2-hour and everything. It can be as simple as the safety sticks in the areas that you're concerned about too. It can be as simple as nothing tonight. Like I said, there was no formal thing being presented to you. It was discussion to figure out a direction we want to go.
At this point, I personally would be happy, I mean, if it made other people happy, trying this out with the safety sticks just in the dangerous areas, right? The crosswalks, the no parking zones, the other areas we've listed, right? And then seeing where that goes, but the 2-hour parking is not gonna go away because some businesses now don't favor it, but some businesses do, and like was just brought up here, businesses can come and go and their needs and wants will change, but this ordinance has been on the books for over 30 years. And if we're gonna have it, we need to enforce it. Now we have technology that can help do that efficiently. So I would support something like this.
I just want to ask a logistical question to Mike there at MPS. You got these photos of downtown. Are the blue areas meant to be in the crosswalks? Because some of them are not.
The blue area, it's meant to be, it's not to be exact. It's meant to be illustrative of where the camera would kind of focus into where it would detect the vehicle on the plate. So it's not meant to be exact. It's meant to be, this is where we would detect the vehicle and read the plate. So when you look at, and again, this was all just kind of conceptually what could be done. If enforcing 2 hours is important to you, this is one way that you could solve that problem. And so this was just kind of meant to show when a vehicle, so this particular one that's up right here, when it's heading south on Cascade, when it's leaving that southern block there, we would read the plate and that would match with a plate read that we had up on Second, where the vehicle went in, and presumably traffic's just going to flow through there, and we'd read a plate going in and read a plate going out. They were on the street for, I don't know, 15, 20 seconds. If they parked, we would read that exit, X number of minutes or hours later. And the entrance and exit would be matched up, and that would be a parking session, and that parking session gets timed.
Mike, I do have a question for you.
Sure.
Say someone had a marathon shopping spree at the grocery store and
Yep.
exited entrance. How would that be picked up?
And sorry, and did what?
Like, say they came in Cascade at like 1 and they went to the grocery store for 2 hours and didn't pass into camera and came out the other end. Would that trigger them to be as a parked for 2 hours?
Well, if we don't detect an exit, then the session doesn't get flagged.
But I'm saying if they come in one side and park at a private lot for 2 hours and go out the other side, would that be flagged as 2 hour
If we
parking?
had, yeah, so if the cameras were set up to, so the answer is no, because it would get architected to prevent that from happening. The illustrations I put here on the 2 blocks of Cascade, there's really no ins and outs. There's only one way in, and that's, at the beginning of the block, and there's one way out at the end of the block. So if there's,
I just want to make sure no one would be wrongfully ticketed.
no, and that's, it would be architected such that nobody would be wrongfully ticketed. Did that answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
Yep. So in terms of, again, this was just meant as kind of illustrative of what we could do conceptually if enforcing 2 hours is important. It really depends on the city and what your goals are. I mean, this discussion comes up a lot. If you'd like, I have a white paper that I like to share with municipalities when we're having discussions with the curbside parking. It comes out of the UCLA Urban Studies department. I didn't write the paper. I don't know the guy who wrote the paper, but it's a really good paper because it talks about the value of that curbside parking and how most municipalities give it away, like any utility that they wouldn't give away. So it really talks about how to manage that. One of the discussion points I heard early was, employees are taking these spots, and employees need a place to park. And if they're working 8-hour shifts or 10-hour shifts or 4-hour shifts, they need to have a place where they can park for 4 hours, 6 hours, 8 hours, 10 hours, whatever that case might be. But typically, the way municipalities will set up their parking assets is that for longer term parking, they'll put that kind of on the perimeter of the core. So I view Cascade as kind of your core, and you've got some lots. It was mentioned behind the post office has got a lot, and then by the liquor store and just south of there. And I think there's also another lot to the west of Cascade, maybe on Third, if I recall correctly. And you would set those up as 4 hour, 6 hour, 8 hour, and really encourage people to go that way for the people who stay for a while. And then the turnover spots are the ones for the businesses, so you can get your people coming in, shop, dine, whatever the case might be. Maybe it's 2 hours, maybe it's 3 hours, whatever that number is, but you want to have that turnover for those transactional type of customers. So if you're interested, I'm happy to send you that white paper. You can read it. It's good, you know, bedtime reading. Kind of talks about managing those assets. Like I said, I have no stake in it, but it is a good discussion point to kind of read through it.
Maybe the opportunity exists here again, because this is hot, to gather information on perhaps the 2 hour time period has gone away. Is there a different time period that our businesses are interested in, or do they no longer care whatsoever?
Yeah, I was surprised that this didn't come through one of our, and I'm gonna use the wrong term, our Chamber of Commerce's.
You know, currently, it's right now, it's kind of a floating thing.
Yeah, I know. That's why I use that term loosely, because I don't know what the group is, but it's representative of the business that is in theory, the people that Ron suggested have the issue.
And without direction from you guys, I wanted to make sure we have directions before I totally have a sit-down meeting with everyone. Unfortunately, like I said today, it really blew up. Without direction from you, board, I can't present anything or a guidance of a conversation until I have parameters, really. Because then we're starting, I don't like to start a project here. You want to funnel it down into an area that we can actually discuss in a timely manner, in a civil manner. And tonight was really kind of the stepping stone of showing you what is capable of doing with the technology. And if it's something we even want to go down and to look at.
I just want to reiterate, I see a lot of gaps and a lot of problems that we're gonna run into, you know. We've got municipal lots that aren't being addressed. Chieftain Street's we're not looking at it. We've got the Valley Spirits lot that Frank can let anybody park there as long as he wants. And then it ends up being a piss and match. There's at least, well, let me phrase that. I know of one class action lawsuit that this business is involved in over data. We're going down a path that we found a solution to a problem I'm not sure anybody wants to solve. It's a slippery slope.
I think our first problem that we need to solve is parking for employees, really.
Well,
I think that's part of it.
yeah, that's up to the business though, because I guarantee you that if a business downtown, their employees come to work, they're not parking in front of their business, right? They're gonna go down and leave that parking for customers and park in front of some other business or some other spot. in
Yeah,
back.
some other business. or-
Right, so, you know, it's something that definitely needs attention, and I know it's been brought up with some of the parking lot solutions. But again, yeah, there's a lot of people that work downtown and need parking, and they're parking in these areas. I would be happy if you're looking for more direction to recommend for now, that to give this company a chance, we place these sticks in the, you know, the high profile no parking areas, right? The intersections, those places, to see how they work, to see what we capture, to see how reliable it is. And then if that seems to be okay, and then down the road, whether it's 6 months or a year, we want to explore the 2 hour parking. Probably not what the police department wants to hear, but then we can look at doing that. But at least this gives us a smaller snapshot or glimpse of what this company can offer and what data we get and how easy it is. Cause maybe if the police department starts getting 25 requests a day to write parking tickets, you know, then we see what the need is down the road. That's one thing, but right now we can see what a smaller snapshot shows.
And Tanner stated tonight, in case you had any questions for the police department too. So that's why Tanner stick around a little extra.
Yeah, I almost would want to hear from him and maybe Paul too on fire hydrants and if that's a problem. Having access to those.
We don't have problems.
Okay.
We just take the window off, put the hose right there. No problem at all.
No problem.
No disrespect to
You know.
Tanner, but I'd rather hear from AJ.
Tanner, if you have something to offer, I'd like to hear it. I'm sure you and AJ spoke about this.
The only clip note that AJ gave me is the ability to have certain license plates entered in the system so that this person does not get a ticket if they violate the ordinance, such as the people who pay for parking behind jackpots in that lot. Outside anything from that, I would probably agree this would be a thing for AJ to talk about you guys on.
Can you get him on the phone?
Get him out of the pool.
Yeah. I don't know how anybody else thinks about it, but if we're looking for a scope on this right now to narrow it down, I would be in favor of the no parking, fire hydrants, crosswalks, corners, where people shouldn't be parking for any reason, employee or not, just to see how the system works. And then address it or not address it later, but
Yeah, and there were some comments that were read back during public comment, some of which were some of the things that I said, and they were related to my opinion that I'm not interested in exploring any paid parking in the village until after the bridge is open. I don't want to deal with adding any stress to the business owners' plates with regard to any paid parking. This is a different conversation. This is enforcing the parking rules that we already have. Now, if we have a broken parking rule, that's my opinion. We need to address the code. If the great majority is that this shouldn't exist, then remove it. Free for all, no restrictions, park as long as you want. I mean, that's the alternative, right? I mean, if we don't have any parking restrictions because the great majority of the business owners in town don't want them, fine. Remove them and let people park as long as they want in any spot they want downtown. Because otherwise, why have the law in place if we're not going to take reasonable, no cost to us steps to enforce them? So I would be willing to entertain future meeting topics to discuss amending village code to repeal our parking restrictions.
I see,
I think we'd have to take a more of a survey of businesses downtown, though, than just a snapshot on social media.
Oh,
Right,
that'd be me going to talking to everyone and finding out
Sure.
what they're.
Yeah, because a lot of
Yeah.
businesses do rely on people coming in and coming out. Some businesses rely on people staying for hours, right? So you're gonna get a variety of responses,
I agree.
but we can't go off of social media or petitions signed by people that may or may not be village residents or business owners.
Yep.
Right? Or unknown data.
Yep, I agree. It would be a town hall style setting I would want to have for
Yep.
something like that, for sure. Yep.
Who's following Ron's suggestion of placing them in the potential problem areas? Would that gather some of the data that we would actually need to decide, is this a problem?
Yeah, and that was kind of related to what he had talked about with the, because you did a records request, right? Yeah, I mean, yes, there was a minimal amount of citations, but
Yeah,
then
like-
again, our code is complaint driven anyway, so we
there
don't,
was 10 in 2 years, there was 10 snow events and 5. Second.
I can tell you there's been a lot more violations because I've come in a few times and asked why that car on Cascade wasn't ticketed after a plow event.
There's been a ton. And we
Yeah.
haven't, well, the last 2 years, we haven't had police coverage a lot in evenings either.
well, and the other problem area that I'm aware of, just because it's constant and it's more so just with walking across the street, but parking as well in front of the watershed is treacherous.
Yeah.
Like,
So
there are all kinds of vehicles parked in places that shouldn't be parked in front of that place.
In 2 years, there was 41 no overnight parking by citations, 5 no parking zone citations, and 10 snow emergencies.
And Tanner could probably answer this, but I'm willing to bet those were basically written on nights there were snowfalls because they had to. Not because they had the staffing or could do it nightly consistently.
Right.
The all night winter parking is your standard 2 to 6. The snow emergency one is when we get more than 2 inches of snow and
Right.
the boys come out with plows.
Yep.
You know, the specific number, we did 17 winter parking tickets. That would be snow emergency and just the general 2 to 6 in the statute or ordinance.
But Main Street.
Everywhere.
And I think I remember when we first brought this up, I thought about doing just the sticks, not these large camera pieces. I don't even think we saw those.
No,
Right.
what originally you talked about continue with the safety six conversation. And then in admin finance, we'd been talking to them longer and we wanted to see what possibly it might look like with parking enforcement, because AJ said that's been an issue that they haven't been able to enforce it. So then admin finance recommends to the full board that we talk about in November meeting, which we did. And it was recommended to go forward for further investigation, what it might look like, and that's where we are tonight. So the quick history on that.
Yeah, and I remember talking about, that I like the safety sticks for the data first, more than any sort of enforcement. So that we can see, and then the public can see, is this a problem, is this not? So if we had one on like one corner, one on the other corner, just these sticks, and used it for data only. I think that would give us a view, and then get rid of them or not after we get the data, because there's no real data right now that's substantial.
And that's something we do with, prospects, is we're happy to do that, put a couple sticks in, show you the data. And if there's no data, we take them out, and that's that.
That's a good comment.
Again, I wouldn't mind seeing sticks in the prohibited high traffic areas like we talked about.
Yep.
For now, for a set period of time. In the meantime, that could give us time to talk to the businesses and talk to people downtown to see how they really feel about it. And then from that point, we could either expand this to 2-hour parking or repeal the 2-hour parking if that's a consensus. But in the meantime, I don't think it hurts to have the no parking areas covered, fire hydrants, crosswalks, corners, people park temporarily 2 minutes.
Curbs that are too
Curbs.
close to an intersection.
Yeah,
Yep.
no parking areas, dangerous areas, that would not be a bad thing at all, because there's no reason for anybody to park there.
Right. Yeah, and
Right,
I
and
think
that's-
it
Sorry, I was
bears, it bears stating too, that I know that one of the concerns that a business owner brought to my attention today was that there was concern that this would be a Trojan horse for paid parking. And I think that that's an avenue, but it's not what this conversation is about tonight. This conversation tonight is about something that is separated from paid parking, in the fact that, like Ron had said, this is an ordinance that's been on the books that the limited resources that we have not been able to enforce for a while. And is this a solution in search of a problem that's not really there? I don't know. But if we have a company that's willing to show us whether or not it is, and at no cost to us, I don't see any reason why we would say no to that. Like, it doesn't make any sense. Like, you don't, if you get an opportunity to get data for free, then take the data. And if it doesn't support doing anything further, then you get rid of it and you're done. We've made stupider decisions that cost us money. Yeah.
That's kind of an interaction.
Yeah, I don't think there's any sort of action or anything. I just think.
I'm not willing to propose any
Yeah, this
action.
is just.
And this is kind of, like, unfortunately, with our monthly meetings, it's really hard to have discussions before it really gets out to the public, because, you guys have to have new direction before I can really give access to it.
Right.
But the information has to be made public so people are aware that we're talking about it. It's a very good thing, but it also doesn't give a chance to us to really describe what we're planning on looking at doing here.
The information has to be accurate,
Yes.
right? It has to be accurate, it has to be detailed, it can't, I mean, a lot of the stuff I've heard in the last day and a half, completely false. Right? Completely false information, and that spreads and people get upset, and that doesn't do any of us any good. But we come to me like
What
this.
you just said is inaccurate, because the data that was posted didn't happen until this morning.
I mean, what data in particular?
Whatever you're insinuating.
Just the fact that people were talking about.
This didn't start talking about it till this morning.
How did this get out like 2 days ago?
I don't know. Been in the packet since Friday.
Right.
Yeah.
So
The social media event didn't happen until this
No, I'm
morning.
saying the packet's been out since Friday.
either way, misinformation does not help, and I'm glad we could set the record straight like this. But unfortunately, we have to deal with the other parts, because like Devin said, we live in a, digital world now where information gets out.
Since the information's been out since Friday, I've had one business owner call me, two business owners, or one manager of a business and the same business owner who called me, emailed me, and 0 board members have called me or emailed me about this. So in terms of public interactions, to me, answering my questions, it's been virtually 0.
The business manager that got a hold of you, who was that?
Brandon from
Because I
the,
sent him an email this morning.
Anybody else have any opinions they want to share on this topic? Okay, moving on.
You able to hear me?
Well, thank you for your time, Mike.
Yep. Thanks, everyone. Appreciate it.
Thanks, everybody.
Okay, 7B, Heritage Committee update, handout. Thank you.
Yeah, he did.
Not much to say, and he said, so it's just kind of like starting. Really, we want y'all to know that we're not doing nothing. It's a process. We don't
Thank
have
you.
enough information.
Take one if you got an extra one.
Of course.
Okay.
I love talking to you guys.
Thanks. So you can get our contact information from Devin if you have questions for us. And we're in a process of getting more information, just slowly keep moving along.
Devin, do we have anything in the CIP set aside yet for wayfinding at Grist Mill for the Heritage Committee to use?
Yes, we're, the amount for it will be so minuscule that we'll just, we can administratively approve it. It's just a small amount. We're looking probably between $500 and $1,000 for signage.
Okay. And are they being invited to the meetings at this point for the construction?
They're not involved in the construction meetings, no, but Drew today sent them a list of, potential, podiums that the information would be on.
And we're getting to the point now with stairs that are gonna get constructed, we're gonna start finding an opportunity to start talking about the finalization. Landscaping, greenery, and signage is gonna be some of the last stuff that gets talked about, but you don't wanna miss it, because all of a sudden now you've got a contractor sealing up their project and saying, all right, let's cut the ribbon, and people have been left out, so.
I know this is a signage topic, but I saw a few logos in there. And I thought logos was a whole separate topic.
Logos for this,
No, in the signage.
Oh, what we're
Grist Mill
discussing later,
and the
Yeah.
stairs.
the bike, like,
some of that signage was existing signage that's just moving.
Okay. I was trying to figure out what was new,
Yeah.
what was being executed as part of Grist Mill and maybe what was new.
Brad, before we get any further, this is no action item. I would like to revisit the stormwater utility, open again. Motion for that. There's one item that was missed that I just, Carrie alerted me to.
Which is,
A stormwater utility bill will or will not be established for those properties with a water utility bill. Do we want to bill people that are not receiving utility bill? And that warrants it to be reopened again to make that decision, because that affects how we approve the ordinance.
Was it written as the ordinance was now?
The ordinance, the packet was the one that said, will not be billed. Oh, it does.
Hopefully.
oh, got it.
So I would like to rescind that motion and
Okay.
go back and revisit.
So, yeah, all right, so, all right, Robert's rules, can we finish this point before we move
Yes,
on?
I just wanted,
Okay.
well, that's fresh in my mind. to
Thank you.
tell you.
Yeah, we're gonna get to that before we get to item 8 then. We'll do it. If we do it within the same meeting, we can have a motion to reconsider and it will be pulled back and then we can discuss the topic. So
Yep.
the motion to reconsider can be done during the same meeting. It just has to happen at the end of the agenda. Okay. All right, anything else on the Heritage Committee?
No, they've been doing a great job. I've attended, stopped in a few of the meetings and talked to them. They're really enjoying learning about the history, from as far back as spoken word to now. So they'll do a thorough job of getting the whole history.
Okay.
It's a great update. Thank you.
Yeah, been looking for something like this. Thank you. Yeah.
Like we really, and we've been reaching out to different people in the community to try to get input from as many different angles as we can. We were at the community fair. I'm gonna put that on there. Yeah. Anyway, so we'll keep folks posted when we're gonna have those sessions and maybe have some input from y'all, like avenues to, put that out to make sure people know what's happening in Kitchewa.
But having the parameters for the sign, you really help.
Yeah, thank you.
Cause like 10 words is different than 1,000, it's different.
how many do you need?
We could probably write a whole book, so and Kim mentioned that there's a long ordinance about signs, so, you know.
Yeah, I would consider a QR code on whatever signage you have to take you to a site. Yes. Yeah. Okay, 7C MSA, discussion and adoption of our CIP per resolution 2601. We just did that
What?
versus ordinance. Oh, geez.
I was worried about that too, Brad.
Carries on it.
But good evening, everybody. I'm here tonight to talk about the updated CIP once again. The board had discussion last month and I had a meeting with village staff. I just want to basically go over the talking points of what we have done to update this CIP. Devin, you could rest on page 133, I believe. That'd be fine, but
Got a long ways to go still.
Mike, he had a comment just about the Public Works equipment table. That was a clerical revision and that's since been updated with the right dates at least. And Todd and I sat down, looked at it. Neil, he had a comment that he wanted to see a Third Avenue reconstruction project, or at least a trail project. And we sat down and created a illustrative project. So outside of the 5-year plan to reconstruct Third Avenue from Summit Street to County Highway M. And this reconstruction project will widen the road to accommodate a 6 to 8 foot bike lane. This bike lane will be also pedestrian surface, not just for bikers.
Yeah, I want to say that we decided against the curb and gutter lift because of the cost. There's no way we could fit a full reconstruct into a CIP at that cost. If you lift it and do a 8 to 12 foot wide sidewalk on a curb, that would drastically alter the size of the road, which would require extensive reconstruction.
Yep, very good, Devin. Also, there is minimal storm sewer on the road. So just improving the road with curb and gutter requires storm sewer and then requires outfalls and there's wetlands adjacent to the road. So Devin's right on. It just increases the cost. And I slate that as a MSID project that could occur after River Street Phase 2. So it'll be out there in the future, but the costs that I saw fit well with the MSID application. So that made sense. Then we can talk a little bit about some park projects or some basically replatting or selling of parkland. There was some discussion about Smith Park, Eric Park, River Street Park, and Todd has those parks on his radar to have discussion at a Public Works meeting of how we'd like to work with them. But basically taking underutilized parkland instead of redeveloping it, putting new playground equipment in there, looking at a land sale to help fund improvements such as an Oki Park pickleball court. So I'll transition to that topic. You'll see that there's a illustrative park project for Oki Park pickleball courts. And the reason it's illustrative is we're hoping to move it into the 5-year CIP, but not use CIP funds to pay for the pickleball court. So try to find another funding source, for example, a land sale or other option that we come up with. But that was, I believe it was Brad's comment about where's the pickleball courts going. That's where we landed on. Todd's continuing the scope on there, but I did a preliminary scope with 3 courts, and the cost is in the park section.
93.7.
There was discussion from Mike to remove Cascade Falls Phase 2 project. We had internal conversations. We decided to leave that park in there. We are not set on the timeline, but that we believe is the next priority project to use stewardship funding on. The reason why it's still in there is because there's a constant maintenance demand on the Public Works team down there. When the park floods, the boardwalks heave, the boardwalks move, and it's very labor intensive to have people go down there and work on it. So we identify that as a priority to decrease the man hours down there. Improve the boardwalks for ADA, and then there's also some land acquisition or easement issues down there. So going to continue down that route. At least that's what our staff is recommending here tonight. So I went quick there, but those were our talking points. I appreciate the board's feedback last meeting. I want to make sure we're happy with this plan. The projects in these 7 sections. I completely understand, how difficult this task is, and there can be unlimited amounts of projects that can go into this plan. I've been a part of CIP plans that, went through 7 to 8 revisions of the plan. So I'll leave it there. I'll entertain any discussion. But tonight I'm looking for motion to approve the resolutions.
And keep in mind, really what you're approving is just the 2-year scope. In 2 years, we'll go through this whole thing again and shift things around again.
Yeah.
The idea for 3, 4, 5 are what we'd like to see, but we all know emergencies happen. Priorities change over the course of a few years too. So even though if it might not see where you want it to be, keep in mind that the current borrowing measure is only for the 2-year period. And then in 2 years, we'll be rehashing all this conversation again.
You caught all the things that I brought up last month, so I'm good. Anybody else have anything that they want to see changed? Otherwise, I'll entertain a motion to adopt this resolution 2601.
I'll make the motion to adopt resolution 2601 to adopt our capital improvement plan 2026, 2028.
26, 27. Right?
Yeah, 2 years.
607.
Yeah.
Oh, it was okay.
I'll second that. Motion by myself and the second, or by Arvid, and a second by myself. All those in favor say aye. Aye, opposed say no. Okay, 7C2, Cascade Falls Trail bike racks.
Yep, I'll continue. Today I am presenting a quote from our furnishing suppliers. So on Cascade Falls Park, we're using Thomas Steely Furnishings, typical supplies out of Wisconsin here. Well, I reached out to one of their, you could say, sister companies, or they own this company from Graber Manufacturing, Mad Racks. They create custom bike racks. So through the design process, it was identified that the Main Street Association has a fund of $1,500 to buy custom bike racks. So Wyatt and I worked together, and I supported Wyatt basically at no cost to design these 4 bike racks, to get his input on them, and then reach out to the supplier to get a quote. Yeah, the Main Street director, he had hours wrapped up into this. They're going to help share the cost of this. The reason why these custom supplies are not in the original bid package is that if that would be the case, MSA would charge design fees for it, and the general contractor would design or charge markup fees for it. Since they're custom furnishings, he's anticipating there's going to be lots of back and forth on it. So the good contractor would mark it up high, and then we got to pay the general price to begin with. So instead of the quote, which I verified is still valid today, the quote of $3,500 or $3,479.77 to be exact, I would expect the quote of $20,000 for these 4 bike racks if they were in the original bid packet. So this is a process that I took to decrease the cost, make it cost effective, try to meet the Main Street's budget, but we exceeded it by double here. So the village would have some cost here. And then this process would be a similar process that I would be involved in with the Heritage Committee's sign. So just a little point there.
Did a really good job of answering a question I hadn't asked yet, which is, did we have any money in our original bid for this? Which you said no. it seems like the bid or Main Street or whoever has plenty of money. I'm not in favor of the village paying for any of this. If some other entity downtown wants it, they can pay for it.
Agreed. You have a $400,000 budget shortfall. I'm not interested in putting bike racks in.
I made a statement, I think at the last meeting or one before, I'm not in favor of any more expenditures on
Yep.
parks. And
Yep.
and consider-
Other than what's already in the CIP.
I mean, I'm even gonna have a hard time saying I wanna match grant money, because I don't know that we have any money to match with.
Right.
There is CIP dollars for these supplies, but I'd really leave the budget conversation for Devin or any comment,
Yeah.
but I understand your point, Mike. Very good.
There's CIP dollars that would help cover this cost?
We still have existing funds from, the previous borrow, not a whole lot, but still have some existing funds from the previous CIP borrow.
I see the value in this bike rack, but I also agree with you two.
I'd rather put this into wayfinding, into signage.
Some other overage that we don't even.
Yeah,
know
that
about
we
yet.
don't even know about, right?
I agree.
Drew, you said you had conversation with Wyatt about the bid paying for this?
They have a fund of $1,500 slated for this, and that's how basically he directed me to go down this endeavor. I agreed to at no cost to try to help him create the design and then get his supplies and bring it to the board. So it was a lengthy process, partially because of the supplier's timeline and Wyatt's timeline and everything. So
I heard rumor that there's a metal supplier south of town that has plenty of capacity and metal that would love to have spent on stairs.
I'm sad to hear that. Who's that? The BPS or something? Oh,
Maybe have Wyatt go talk to him.
yeah.
Probably get some free bike racks. And then he can pay you that $1,500.
Yeah, like I'd ask for it, Mike.
I think you should. I'll ask for you.
It's not, it's nothing.
Anybody looking to propose some board action on this item? Room seems pretty cold. All right, moving on. 7D, discussion to amend the village code to change the Schilberg Park's light schedule.
Yeah, so we've fielded a few comments the past year about the hours of Schilberg Park and the light schedule that it's currently on. Some people have asked us to extend the current hours that the lights are on. Our current village code only allows the park to be open from dusk to dawn, basically, a few minutes here or there. Our lights are currently on timers, and we have people that are walking their dogs at 5 a.m. to 11 o'clock at night that want to make sure they're safe and walking in the park. I totally understand that, but back to our conversation with parking, that means the park would be open outside of village ordinance. Tonight, the discussion would be looking for direction to set Schilberg Park outside of the ordinance hours and set in their own hours for Schilberg Park. If this is something we want to proceed with, or we direct staff to keep the lights as they currently are on. And Todd is he's been answering a lot of the emails of people who've been asking, so he can provide more insight too.
Yeah, as it states, many requests, but from only the same few handful of residents requesting these additional hours. Kind of a weird scenario, grant-driven opportunity to put this wonderful pathway through village property. It's dark to the south, it's dark to the north, but we do have these lights. Of course, we do recognize being here all hours of the day and night. Where we see it being mostly utilized is before and after school for kids to get there. So that's the current program we've been running. Really haven't entertained doing these longer schedules, but would certainly like some direction as to see if we'd like them on any longer.
Do you foresee any complaints if the lights are on from say 5 a.m. to 10 p.m. or 11 p.m. from people in the area that the lights are on?
I'm not sure.
Leading up to the industrial park and Education Avenue, no residential.
There's no
I
residential.
don't anticipate residents complaining given the location of the park.
I mean, it's lit well, it's a beautiful pathway. I would be opposed to extending the hours.
Yeah,
Something reasonable.
it's a procedural thing, so we would have to actually add to our code, setting aside Schilberg's trail outside of the park system, because the parks are called out to be open from, what is it, a half an hour before sunrise to a half an hour after sunset? Is that what it says?
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd just be a sentence you add on that, except for Schilberg, they're open from.
It would say Schilberg's Schilberg's lighting schedule, see appendix, whatever, and then we can,
I want to ask it, going in a little different direction on this. We've got a skate park, a skate park and a skating rink. Both of those, I think, there's no reason we can't use them after dark. Especially ice skating.
I don't think either one is illuminated, are they?
Oh, the ice rink is, the skate park is not.
okay.
Which I would have thought it should have been, and maybe it should be someday. Because it is getting a lot of use, and I'm all for changing the Shelburne thing, but I feel like we ought to maybe incorporate some other things too.
Yeah, and I will say, if you do good pickleball and courts, no.
Yeah.
They would want to go.
I would recommend not putting lights on because they will use them past the time limit. Pickleball courts have been, but that's no longer here or there on the agenda, but just a heads up, changing other things does have other circumstances.
Yeah, I think the bit,
Okay, with even a pickleball court, people using it after hours. You get a lot of, our industrial parks got second and third shifters.
the big driver behind this is the morning and evening walkers. I think that's they're out walking dogs and they want a little bit more safety to be able to go out before the sun is up. And, 6 months of the year, this isn't as big of a concern, or 3-4 months a year, because the sun is coming up as early as 5 o'clock. But during the winter months, when we get some warm weather, that's where it becomes an issue. So, I mean, I'm thinking we would need to,
Have a pending lighting ordinance recommendation from some engineering.
No,
no, that's for commercial.
that's for industrial.
Hey, does it have to be just there?
Because that's what we discussed, that was the industrial code, a part of that.
Yeah.
I'd like to hear some, there's other avenues there. I think we could adjust. We can incorporate one lighting ordinance maybe.
I know that Showbrook Park is the memorandum tonight, but I agree
Yeah.
that there is going to have to be a larger, broader
Yeah,
subject on
this is a two-step process. There'd be a board resolution tonight to operate outside of the park schedule. That would satisfy our behavior if we do lighting outside of the park's posted hours. But then the second step is to amend the village code, setting aside whatever defined park lighting that we want. And it could be park lighting, parks are open from this time to this time, with the exception of park lighting schedules referenced in Appendix B or whatever. And then in Appendix B, we can put Shilberg Trail, we can put skate park if it ever gets illuminated, we can put, whatever. We just list them right there, and then we don't have to worry about amending our code more than once.
Exact quantity of people that are asking for a change.
approximately 6.
I say we wait. I don't know that I want to make a change for 6 people in town.
I think one of the what's going to open a broader subject when it comes to parks and paths and lights and future things too is the overall cost of these things. We have millions of dollars in infrastructure just in the downtown alone. We own 129 municipal owned streetlights. I think the budget within the last 2 years has grown from about $5,000 to $10,000. We spend over 25,000 just on streetlight electricity. So when we do move forward with a potential decision and growth and putting more infrastructure in, we have to look hard at what the overall cost is going to be too. Because right now we're having a hard time supporting that $10,000 annually.
Sure, you're also getting 70,000 hours out of a luminaire than we are, 5 or 10. And the energy consumption is a lot less. So whatever you've had in the numbers in the past, hopefully they are going to adding more.
Energy consumption is low. Maintenance is higher, unfortunately, well, from what we're seeing right now, 7-8 years.
You get the trail people coming on board too. I maybe let them tackle this topic for those 6 people and they do that.
Yeah, I think and then one of the things that I'd like to see, and just for my own knowledge, tell me how much it's gonna cost to run the lights for 6 extra hours a day.
That will be low, and I will be easily be able to get you that number. Unfortunately,
Because other than the programming, that's the only additional expense, right? The time that you spend programming and then the electricity used in the light, other than the life of the bulbs, I guess.
yes, the life is going to play a role in the maintenance.
So factor that in.
I will
Amortize the light.
It's gonna be a small number and there's other non-tangible values that
Well, that's what I'm hoping to arrive at, is that the number is small enough that it didn't even need to rise to the level of it being a board discussion, other than the fact that it's codified in our village.
If it
ordinance.
wasn't village code, you
I know.
would not be here.
It would already be
That's the
done.
thing, though.
Yes.
I think it's a beautiful walkway and it's underutilized.
Yes,
The
it's
hours.
because it's not lit.
Yeah, and I think I would make the motion right now, and we could decide on the hours, but that Schilberg be exempt from the other park hours for lighting, for open to close.
It would have to be a board resolution that would then create a need to change code later.
Let's make it happen.
I would support it if you.
I'll make that motion, if they could have a board resolution to exclude Schilberg's from the regular park schedule, of course. open.
Second.
All right, we have a motion by Ron and a second by Nicole. Can we get a better description of what this motion actually is? I'll let Carrie type for a few minutes.
Yeah.
Which code number, whatever it would be.
Ones.
Yes, reference. the- yeah.
166-1.
Thank you. Discussion on the motion?
I'm flabbergasted we're making code changes for 6 people. Oh. Yeah, I just,
Really don't know how many people would use it if there were lights.
Right, exactly.
Any other discussion on the motion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, say no. I don't know what Van's vote is, but
I think it would matter.
matters in terms of the minute
Record, yeah, the minute.
Well, he hasn't voted on anything else yet.
that we know of. Are you gonna be able to get information from him?
We can.
We should just
It
have
would
like
be
a him
helpful.
do a thumbs up or a thumbs
It would be
down
helpful.
or
I mean, I know that
something.
we're already,
At this point, we'll just exclude him from voting.
we've only published a 5-member board for tonight, but I would like to know what his were. If it's even something we could append in the minutes later. Motion carries. All right, 7. What is it? Where are we on now? E.
Yep.
Department of Public Works half-ton truck, CIP purchase.
Yes, then for 2026-27 CIP, cap improved budget, net price replacement of Public Works half-ton truck. Outside of this state bid, I did procure another state bid locally. That came $7,000 over. Truck wasn't quite apple to apples, but very close. We have a truck potentially available to us that hasn't quite hit the ground from Dodge of Burnsville. So I would be happy to say that we'd like to introduce the first hybrid vehicle municipality. Again, we have not reviewed this truck in its completeness other than the provided documents that I've showed you. We would do that, of course, before getting a PO for the purchase of the truck.
Does truck require charging or is it self-charging?
Self-charging.
Hybrid versus. Full.
Well, could be a plug-in.
I'm not even opposed to a full electric at some point. To my comment from before, just as with not the cameras, the Motorola radios, we found out that the state bid wasn't the best solution.
Yeah.
And now we did look at 2 state bids.
I reviewed 2 state bids. I'm very fortunate to be working somehow with Dodge of Burnsville. They have this excellent commercial fleet manager that's able to get me regional and state discounts, and then also looks internally for something even greater. So I could tell you honestly that I could probably get a great deal on a Bighorn with heated seats and all the stuff. I really could. That would come well under the RCIP number. But this fits the bill for us. I think it's a tremendous deal.
I think it's a great price, and I'm shooting the messenger today, just
Sure.
because it's, the message is for all the departments.
Hmm.
You know, we don't need to use the state contract. I don't know that it's a cheap answer. 40 grand seems cheap for a truck. I'm
Yeah.
not a Dodge guy.
We've tried the rest. I mean, another thing too, just in a little more background, 2024 Ram 3500 we purchased also from Ram of Burnsville. regional NAFTA rates, state bid, and we ended up going with their price, which was lower than both of them in 2024. So in this scenario, the
What-
state just happens to be the lowest.
What's the FWP as opposed to the MSRP on the price confirmation? I was just a little confused by it because it's lower. It's so the MSRP's 49, and that's what the state discount is going off of, and it's 40,700. And then there's the FWP, and that's 47,900. So
That's a good question. I can certainly ask. what-
yeah,
what
like
they
why
are.
aren't we going off of that one? 'Cause it's another $2,000 off. Well, roughly $2,000 off.
Yeah.
So
Can certainly ask.
Factory wholesale price.
is it?
That's what the Google says.
Yeah, it's what
Oh.
we're getting to.
WP.
Got it.
Which
But
makes,
why can't we go off that one?
And then
because
goes
that's
to
what they're
state bid
buying,
as well.
that's what they're.
Yeah, that's what they bought it for. Yeah.
Google stuff.
Yeah.
Google get us a truck.
Oh, geez.
You know,
Now you've done it. There you go.
there's no wrong thing about asking for these things, especially with cars. I'm in that process myself, and I'm like, well, like, what is this?
I support you getting a new car, by the way. I want to push it again.
I'd make a motion to let the Department of Public Works purchase a half-ton truck for the CIP purchase, which we already approved.
A second.
Motion by Ron and a second by Nicole to approve this purchase. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed say no. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thanks, Todd. All right, 7F, Utility Department Job Descriptions. Laurel.
Yeah, Rick's been busy.
Yeah, it's been a thing. Whole vibe. Where we at first? Is it Ralph's first operator description on your packet? Excellent. So I'll, as we know, we talked about last year, Ralph is set to retire after 42 years of service. In anticipation of that, I updated the job description and am seeking approval for the job description and posting the position left open by his retirement, so I can start the process of filling the position.
Sure you know what you want, so I will make a motion. We approve this job description.
Thank you.
Motion by Arvid and a second by Mike to approve these descriptions. There's two.
Oh,
Oh,
you want to do both at the same time?
We can do both at the same time. I guess it's in
Is that what you meant, Arvid?
I was looking at one, but I certainly could be
I would
convinced to
second
go
the
to
friendly
two.
Amendment.
Arvid meant
I
these.
meant two.
Do you want me to speak about the other one slightly?
We are, yeah, we see it's related to the additional duties.
Yeah.
I'm all for that idea.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
They're well
Well,
written.
approve as
Thank you.
presented, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Good job, Andrew.
absolutely.
30 years in HR and these are well written.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed say no. Carried.
I do want to say next month we will be, next month for Rolf, we will do a little ceremony for him here.
Yeah, I cleared it with him today. He said, don't wait until I'm not an employee.
Okay.
So take it back or whatever.
I gave him the option of the March or the April meeting, so.
Oh, okay.
We will be honoring him at the next meeting then for his years of service for the
Got it.
village.
Yeah, so we had a good laugh over it, but yeah, he said March meeting would work just.
It's gonna be a little get together for and stuff too.
Yeah, we're working that as staff right now.
Working on that internally, so thank you all.
Don't worry, I'm not the party planner, so it'll be much better attended.
Rick, party planner?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, we're working on it together. I'm monthly billing right now. It's like, it's a whole
I'm
thing.
not drinking the punch.
No.
It's a whole thing right now, guys. All right, thank you all.
Thank you.
All right, 6G, application for payment number 1. Rebid Bluff Tower water main replacement.
The next few are all on Eric here. I'll let him present on these.
All right, yep, this is just what it says it is. Application for payment number 1 for the Bluff Tower project in roughly the amount of, or I'll say the exact amount of $7,870.75. And all work associated with the tree clearing. So the project manager for Minger noted, he's like, basically, I want to cover my subs bill. That's what he's looking to do. So the work is done.
I will move to approve this application for payment.
I'll second.
Motion by myself and then second by Nicole to approve this payment for the rebid Bluff Tower Water Main Replacement Project.
Well, he's covering more than just himself.
Sure, a little bit.
Well, he's got mobilization.
Yeah, it's got gas. Any other discussion on the motion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, say no. Carried. 6H or 7H, sorry, River Street and Third Avenue reconstruction authorization to bid.
All right, so we talked about a little bit earlier that Devin and I had a public involvement meeting last week. That was met with public, went over the project again. We are at a stage in the design process. We're asking the village board for approval to go to bid. Mike had asked a couple of questions about lighting and sidewalk, and I can kind of go through the different items that we're including in the plan, but specific to lighting, there is new lighting along the stretch. We're adding a light pole on Third Ave, about, let's say, a third of the way into the block. And then there's a light pole on the corner.
So here and here.
Can't quite say where you're putting actually, but down on Third. Yep. Yep, so a little bump out, you're looking at your packet too, or online, on the bump out on the north side of Third, and then on the corner of River and Third. And then we've got light pole mid-block on the west side of River. It's there's a light pole that's there now, actually an Excel light that'll be removed. And then we've got two up near the intersection of Fourth Avenue. The sidewalk along the Gong development will ultimately be the villages. It's in the right of way. But the Osceola Bluff Apartments project will install that sidewalk as part of their project. Just correlates better. That's what they had shown on the plans that were approved by the board as well. Correlates with construction schedules that village puts in the curb street. They'll be putting on the sidewalk and the landscaping on that side. Go on with, I guess, the improvements that we're doing. Placing the water and sewer mains, over 100 years old. All the services that are along the project corridor. We're installing storm sewer. That's what the red line is on the plan. So it extends down to Third Avenue and then runs north, a couple of inlets along the way. We'll be eliminating, as I mentioned earlier, a couple of outfalls. One's kind of directly west of Fourth Avenue, and then one is just north of where the old hospital was located. Those will be, one at the old hospital will be removed, and the one that's just north will be plugged and left. Actually, the pipe will be left. It runs underneath the
Is
driveway.
it on private property?
It is on private.
So it's just gonna be plugged and left? Has there been conversation with the property owners on that?
Yep, actually, talked to them at length after the meeting about that and a few other things, and so.
Okay.
And then the storm sewer actually extend up to Lad Park. There's a little park that's just a residential lot, basically, it's been turned into park, and we'll create a new outfall to the river there. There's another outfall that's directly west of Fifth Avenue, that we could have taken the storm sewer all the way up to that and discharged there. We decided as staff to put it on Lad Park, being on village property, being able to maintain it, felt like a better solution than ultimately the outfall that's on private property at Fifth, could be eliminated. That storm sewer directed down to this new outfall.
And are the easements and everything taken care of now? Like we don't have anything missing anywhere anymore?
So working on that one. We're working on that. So there are not easements on the existing outfall that's currently remaining at Fifth.
Yeah, we met with that homeowner last week too.
Okay,
Yeah, and so we will be working on.
that's phase two, right? That's in the phase two area?
That is in the phase
Yeah,
two.
so eventually we would like to dead end that one, or get rid of that outfall too, being on private property and just accessing everything through the outfall from existing and the one on village property then.
Lad Park, yeah.
There will be some stormwater quality improvements. One of the manholes will be fitted with some functionality that helps take out sediment and trash and things that just keeps it out of the river. We're doing some landscaping similar to what's down on First Ave and Chieftain, just in the bump outs, you know, the low maintenance type stuff.
How is this gonna go in conjunction with the gone property? So, cause I wouldn't wanna put any landscaping or anything until that's done, just because of like,
Yes, so the landscaping, like on the Gone side will be, they'll do that as well.
okay,
So there's the kind of corner on the southwest there. They will landscape that space.
okay.
So I'm assuming you're gonna submit more than 4 drawings, right? This is only a partial package. Is there 4 here?
There's only one drawing.
Oh, sorry, I was thinking there was 4 of something. Maybe I was thinking of a different.
So, no, I'm not asking for approval of the plans. I'm asking for authorization to go to bid.
I'm gonna struggle again with this because I don't know why we can't. Along the same lines of what Nicole was just suggesting, there's gonna be assets that Gone's gonna install that I'm gonna suggest are not gonna be clear who's gonna maintain them in the long term. And I can appreciate your landscape architect is gonna probably call out some neat things, but Todd's gonna get stuck maintaining them, or there's gonna be a piston match between us and Gone. So
Well, and, you know, Todd and staff, everybody's staff levels is reviewing the plans. Todd and Rick have been involved throughout. They, on what Gone does, you know, the sidewalk, I think it's clear what's in the right of way and what is not. And so they'll be submitting, landscaping plans. We talked about too, it was brought up at a different meeting. I want to look at I don't know if you call it a memorial plaque, but a plaque recognizing the hospital location and those that used to work there. We have talked about that with them as well, of maybe what they do is they set aside a spot for a bench and a plaque up on the River Street right away, and we figure out exactly what that is.
Glad that was part of the discussion that was brought up by more than one resident, so. Remind me what these colors are again. So red represents the,
Red is storm sewer,
okay?
green is sanitary, and blue is water main.
Got it. Thank you.
when the schedule of when this gets done, our work would happen after Gone's done.
Simultaneously.
Same
Yeah.
time. So they're starting, potentially next month.
When do you think they're gonna be done with like, their crane type equipment?
So,
Yes, we have talked about that, making sure a final lift does not happen until all heavy equipment's out, that won't damage the existing.
right,
I'm gonna, where I was going with this, I'm gonna suggest there's time that we can wait to see a more complete set of plans. I wanna it'd be nice to see some language to make sure everybody's clear who owns what. Make it, as silly as it sounds, make sure they understand they have to clean their own sidewalks. And that we're not gonna.
Well, that's village code.
I get it, but I ran into this in bigger cities where they put something in and assume you're just gonna take care of it because it's your sidewalk or something. Like little things like
That's developer agreement and village code that covers that.
I hope to never hear about it again then. I hope nobody in the Grace apartment ever complains about the light you're putting right outside their bedroom window. Or Todd ever complains about a bush or a tree that you got put in some landscape area because it paid to maintain it, so.
I guess my concern that it's happening simultaneously is making sure that,
Some of that standard construction. stuff.
yeah, that everyone's working together on that,
This isn't uncommon when you have a project in the building going at the same time.
I'd agree with that wholeheartedly, and I know Steve, which one did Steve bid and get?
We haven't, this has gone for bid yet. That was Ridge Road.
Ridge, okay. you're gonna, so whoever's gonna be there doesn't want to warranty their street, assuming there's another construction project going on. So they're gonna pick a schedule that's gonna say, okay, we're not doing that final lift, which is that last 3 inches of asphalt or something.
Right.
However, it just, I don't see the schedule to push this that fast. I'd like to see more drawings.
Well, and we have more detailed drawings. We're actually at 90% until a change we made just last week, and now we're making some adjustments. I made a conscious effort not to put the plans in board's packet and provide just kind of more of a graphical. And you know, it can be different, but I'm utilizing staff myself for basically the engineer plans. And the board for approval of the project.
I have full confidence in the staff and you and Devin working together in the process, so I'm gonna make a motion to authorize the bid of River Street Third Avenue reconstruction.
I'll second.
There's no construction schedule in the original request for bid for the water tower. And that really put us in a predicament. And that was your initial set of plans. So I don't have the same confidence. So.
Mike speaks opposed. Is there anybody that has any other discussion on the motion on the floor? Seeing no other discussion, we'll proceed to the vote. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, say no. Motion carried. Okay, moving on, 7I, Ridge Road Extension Bid Review and Authorization.
Yeah, so this didn't make it in the electronic packet, and that's what was handed out, and there was nice enough to print it off for me twice.
Yeah, it'll be going on the website. It'll be going on the website tomorrow.
And the reason it didn't make it in is because we actually opened bids this morning. Yeah, and we did that basically to gain a week of it being out there for contractors to find and to bid on. We received 8 bids. You can see the different contractors listed. Maybe I could read them out for the public to know too, but we've got JNS General Contracting, Albrightson Excavating, A1 Excavating, Stout Construction, Total Excavating, Tri-City Contractors, Haas Sons, and Minger Construction. There were 4 bidders, with JNS being the low bid at $873,405.85. Our last construction estimate was about 1.1 million. And so it's in the range and lower. I mean, everybody was kind of right there. The highest being about 1.25 million. I did talk to JNS after the bid, asked them if they were comfortable with where their numbers were at. Project, they are comfortable.
They're currently on site for the Werzer project.
They're the contractor working for Werzer, which is the Ridge Road.
So was anybody else a 40% swing with warrant of concern?
Right. They have no mobilization costs, none. I meant figuratively, yeah.
And the health of the TIF support like this number too. Most important.
13,000,
Yeah.
30,000 less. So that makes up some of it.
So we feel confident that JNS can do the work. We will be out there doing inspection. Well, on your approval of the construction administration contract, which we'll bring to the next meeting. But we've got to be out there. Somebody has to be out there for inspection of water and sewer. And say that
Albrightson has done work for us too, before too, right?
Yes.
And their number's really close.
Yep.
They did the demo of the skate park house, didn't they?
No, Albertson did Simmons.
Oh, that's right. They did Simmon Drive, yeah.
Oh, they did the pavement out here, yeah.
They're only 90,000.
Yeah. They did the parking lot and some of the street paving last summer too. So we've done work with Albrightson also.
Yeah,
But the total bid comes in.
right.
It's everybody. It's games we play.
I move we award this to JNS. Motion by myself, second by Mike, to award this bid to JNS. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, say no. Motion carries. 7J. Discussion regarding resolution 2602, petitioning the Secretary of Transportation for airport improvement aid.
These are, resolutions that have the boards approved in the past. This is for the airports. Aids that they get, it has to be approved at the board level, not at the airport commission level. So that's why it's before you tonight.
There's no money out of our pockets for this, right?
Nope.
I would make a motion that we approve this resolution.
I'll second.
Motion by Mike and a second by Nicole to adopt resolution 2602. Any discussion?
Yeah, it's a maintenance building, a new control tower.
They might not build them.
But they ask for money for.
They ask.
They asked for the money. That's right.
School, they're ambitious.
I just want people to know that. It doesn't mean they're doing it. They're just,
Just getting the funds, yes.
Yeah. They're trying.
All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Motion carries. All right, before we move to item 8, which is future agenda items and updates, we have a procedural issue to take care of. We have a reconsideration. So reconsideration by Robert's rules, in order to motion reconsideration, the motion must be made by a member of the board and the prevailing voting side. I believe this was a unanimous vote, so any one of us can move to reconsider the motion that was made pursuant to agenda item 7. 6. Yeah, it's item 6. So I move we reconsider item 6. Typically, motions to reconsider require a roll call vote. So if there's no discussion on this motion, we will proceed through roll call. Nicole? Arvid? Ron? Myself as an aye, and Mike? So it's unanimous. So this item's been recalled and is now open for discussion. Carrie, do you want to give us the details on what we should be doing now?
it's whether we're going to bill people that do not have utility accounts with the village, or if we're only going to bill people that have utility accounts.
These are landowners in the village that do not currently utilize village utility hookup.
Yes.
Got it.
So, yeah, we would have to create new accounts for these people and find out who they are, or we're not going to bill them at all. So that's kind of what the
Thoughts?
I don't want to bill
No?
them.
Yeah, I
Somebody for something they're not using. Sounds litigious. Why don't you make that clear motion and somebody?
If somebody would like to propose a motion that we adopt ordinance 2601 excluding non-utility customers.
Second.
Motion by Mike, second by Nicole to adopt ordinance 2601, amending chapter 201 utility to add article 6 stormwater utility to village code excluding non-utility customers.
You had a public hearing, changing.
Is there any discussion? Excuse me, we are not in public comment at the moment and the public hearing is complete on this. We don't need to have another public hearing for something that's already complete. Is there any further discussion on the motion on the floor? All right, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed say no. Motion carries. All right, now we've corrected that issue. Item 8, future agenda items and updates. Moving around the room, Nicole? Nothing? Arvid?
Nothing.
Congratulations on your retirement. I don't have anything, Mike?
We'll do that and the budget every month.
Yeah, the budget is another issue and, you know, wherever Neil is, I'm sure he wants us to say it. So budget, $400,000.
That was a little busy last month with other stuff.
All right, that's it, everybody. We are adjourned at 8:44. Thank you.
It's just kind of like the highlight and.
Yeah.
I will. A little guy in a white t-shirt on top of it.
You better get your dog tags, you ride a dirty.
Just stop it.
I always do it for Crowley. Crowley always has a tag, he just doesn't wear them. He doesn't go anywhere without it anyway.
I don't collect these, no.
But.
I got, no.
That's the one that doesn't have.
I don't.
That's not the.
It's gonna break my record. Yeah, I didn't get any.
I was thinking it was Rick.
No. I do have a bone to pick with Rick.
That's it, just the two? Shoot me?
Yeah.
I just.
My sewer back, Rick.
Your daughter down?
Oh, your phone.
I shouldn't like it. She's not sure. Really? I just. Yeah. Let's talk about that, Gary.
I don't like
Transition. I mean, if you.
We're not taking, no. I just had to, like, we're not taking around the trip.
And they might call you guys. They tell you, like,
Yeah, because the vote that we took was after the public hearing was over. So everything that we do after public hearing can be undone and redone. The public hearing just provided. Yeah, and so